What is going on, everybody? It is episode 285 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name's Brett. I'm here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. It's a very haphazard day in the studio. We've got a very absent Serge who is coming in soon. But for now, introduce yourself, our one guest.
Hey, guys.
No, he is now main guest host. Because
Our main
Serge
guest
is late.
host, yes.
Hey,
Our
you're
favorite.
here first, folks. What's up, YouTubers? It's Kellen. I'm back,
tubers?
and I think I'm going to upset you guys with today's conversation.
He's
but
like, I'm a big fan
that's all
of
I'm
the
gonna
Alec
say.
Baldwin guy.
Before we get started, I just wanted to ask you if you have a strong opinion about the Channel 5 Andrew Callahan situation.
You'll have to tell me about it. I'm sure I do.
Okay, so like Channel 5 is that man on the street YouTuber who like does, I guess, satire.
Hurry
sort
up,
of man on
Serge.
the street. But he recently got outed with like a bunch of allegations of like misconduct, basically, and he made a video responding to it. Hey, Serge.
There's your coffee, Cameron. I'm sorry.
We're a professional.
The best
class
You
act.
were
production
right. I am the main
assistant.
guest host.
You're
This is
the-
awesome.
That's how you get the special treatment. But he made this response video basically being like, I did it all. I admit it. I'm sorry, but it's all true.
Yeah.
Like,
he's like, and it's weird because he's like, I'm sorry you feel that way, but I did it. And he's like, I'm going to use this time
Like-
to like live and learn.
he didn't deny anything.
No.
It's kind of shocking. Do you know that Channel 5 Andrew Callahan situation?
Oh, yes. I know
Yeah.
all about that.
Yeah.
He's got the hot take on it.
Thoughts? If you have
I-
any?
I don't know if anyone knows who Brandon Buckingham is. Do you guys know who that is?
No.
He's one of my favorite YouTubers. I wear this headband. I was wearing it earlier on at the end of the year, actually, a lot because I really like his takes on a lot of things. And he has been saying that this guy is, suspect for quite a while before all of the accusations came out against Andrew. Sorry, I'm just going to catch my breath here.
those stairs get maybe it's because I have to do the stairs every day so often, but like
Yeah.
like
We're kind of breaking a fourth wall
yeah,
right now.
we are.
A little bit. I apologize for that, guys. But Kellen needs his coffee, so.
He's
all
the boss man around here.
It's all Kellen's.
Anyways,
right.
yes, I do know a lot about. I do know the whole situation with Channel 5 and his accusations, and again, I'm gonna defer to say like until we actually get hard evidence and etc.
What hard evidence? He admitted it.
He admitted it.
Well, did you
Oh,
watch his video responding?
I did not watch his video.
It's
no.
kind of bizarre. He basically didn't deny anything.
Wow. Okay. Well, I didn't know that. I only watched people that were saying that.
He
were
hit him
saying
with
he
the
did
Uno
it.
reverse. He's like, they're never going to see this one coming. I'm just going to admit
You
it.
can't
He's like,
cancel me if I admit it.
I did it,
That's
guys.
wild.
Sorry.
I mean, the stuff that
Yeah.
he's admitting to is wildly inappropriate, and it's also like to the point where it's
Right.
like, dude, you don't look so good with that. I'm amazed he actually just admitted it, but
No, but he's like, I'm growing, I'm learning, etc.
Well, he did not admit to like assault. He just admitted
No.
to like bad like encounters. Kind of like what's
Right,
his
right.
name? Aziz
What did he
Ansari.
say? Fluid consent.
Fluid
or something?
consent.
Fluid consent.
There's a
I
term
don't
for
know.
everything. Have you guys seen those apps like where you both sign the app like before committing?
No,
like,
no,
Like
don't tell
next
me
they're
they're
gonna
doing
have
that.
next they're gonna have like MMORPG versions of consent where like at every stage of the romantic encounter your phone buzzes like that, and then you have to so after your phone buzzes like we have progressed past first base. And then your phone buzzes and you have to both sign the phone again. You have to both sign the app again.
No. I'm going to take it one step further. To get from first base to second base, it's going to cost you 30 points off your social credit
Ah,
Yeah.
perfect. That's guy. We're pitching ideas for apps today.
score. Let's go.
Let's go.
Man.
We got a bunch of stuff to talk about here today, guys. Bad news. Baldwin is here.
Bad
with,
news Baldwin.
Look, he's possibly like the DA says they're looking to charge him. Up to 5 years for manslaughter. It's 18 months for the initial charge, and there's more stuff on top of it. Go figure. I always had bad vibes about that guy. It's weird, right? Like you're just. I didn't like the cut of his jib. I didn't like it at all. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about like loser journalists at Kotaku who are going through traumatic experiences because The Last of Us is too similar to real life because they went through COVID. So we're gonna talk about that. Yes. That's the thing.
Are you
Man.
serious?
Yes, it's a
Yeah.
thing.
Wow,
we're talking about
dude,
that.
that's
We're going to talk about the fact that Disney is just literally just bent over and bowed down to Xi Jinping. They're like, yeah, sure, we'll work for you. That's cool. So they're going to be re-educating their employees, their actors, on how to not offend the Chinese population when making their movies, promoting their movies, everything but bowing down and
Kowtow.
giving a red salute.
The
So we're going to talk about that. Adam Lambert has his own thoughts on the ability of straight men to play gay characters because nothing has changed. It's 2022 or 2023, and it's the same story.
And we're
It's a
talking
different
about
day.
Adam Lambert.
Yeah, believe it or not, guys, that's still a thing in 2023. If you remember who Adam Lambert was back when we were a country and American Idol was a thing.
Oh, I miss it so much.
Those were good times. Also, I found a very interesting article here earlier about the possibility that they could be recasting Cara Dune in The Mandalorian. So that would not be good for me, because then Gina Carano is Cara Dune. So we will talk about that as well. Before we get into it, though, Mary has sent us a very special cringe of the day. This one, Mary, I've actually seen before, but it's so good that it's something that the whole world needs to see. You're gonna need headphones for this, Serge. It's you forget those things when you show up late to work.
Hey, that's
Yes.
me, guys.
We're just gonna bully Serge
The whole day.
I'm all for it. I'm
All right,
for it.
guys. We are moving on for cringe of the day.
This one's evergreen.
It is. Oh yes, it is.
And I personally take inspiration.
Avril.
The
If
Jennifer.
you want to know what I think that I am, I think that I'm just a rock chick. And I like to rock out. I like to throw shit around. I like to go nuts. I like to lose myself on stage. I like to scream. I like to holler. I like to break things. I like to yell.
The Canadian
get
accent,
anger.
man.
It's thick.
And
It's so good.
It's so thick.
Thank you.
you know what? Everyone has their own opinion on everybody.
That's so true. That's so true.
Go
Queen.
off, Queen.
Dude,
Everyone does have their own opinion on
I
everybody.
love that.
Go off, Queen.
Yeah,
I love it.
that was based.
Thoughts? Did you like it?
I didn't think it was cringy.
you like
I
it?
think it's like early 2000s. Yeah, I didn't know she had an accent until this moment.
Yeah.
So
You
You
I'd
didn't
be
know she was
wild.
Canadian?
No,
Wow.
I didn't, bud.
She was hiding it.
Very Canadian. Very
Closeted
Canadian.
Canadians,
Remember
the
when
worst.
people theorized that Avril Lavigne was murdered and replaced with a clone?
That was a big one. I remember that there's a lot of those celebrities. I'm a bigger fan of Gucci Mane getting replaced by a clone, because he came back from jail like all buff and
Yeah.
he got like the caps on his teeth and he started talking like Kobe Bryant. So now like anytime you see any videos of Gucci Mane online, half the comments are "shut up, clone," which I'm particularly fond of because
Wow.
he rebranded himself. That's all he did.
Yeah, I met Mr. Davis, and I'm going to refer to
Really?
him because he's a very nice guy. Yeah, I met him in Salt Lake City when he was doing a show. He came down before the event, talked to everybody, was very polite. Extraordinary Southern gentleman.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
Well, it's like you go to jail, you do your time, you come out better
Yeah.
than you were before.
Reformed.
Yes.
Indeed. Yeah, I agree.
Also, in the chat, Sarank Zero Productions says that was supposed to be cringe. Mary, can you define why it's cringe?
I mean, I personally
She's a package. She was a
celebrate
product.
it more than I cringe at it.
Mid-
was-
but
other than
The Canadian accent
I was
was
gonna
tough.
say other than the fact that she is Canadian, that's really the only cringy
I mean,
part for me.
think about it. Would a celebrity ever do an interview like that now?
That seems like a social
They're too
media
squeaky
post that
clean.
every celebrity does.
Good point. That's
Yeah.
a good
But
point.
when she did it, it was sincere.
Because she's based.
Yeah.
Julia Fox would do that exact same thing now. Julia Fox. All right, so now that we are done with the cringe, are we ready? Are we ready to go, Mary?
We're ready.
Serge.
Yeah, let's drop in.
Let's go.
Let's go. All right. So Alec Baldwin, they are saying that he is going to be charged straight from the mouth of the district attorney out there, says that up to 18 months for involuntary manslaughter, and Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, the armor on the show, is also going to be charged.
Yes.
I didn't see this coming. I really didn't.
Press
I
S to
didn't.
spit. I am so happy about this news. I thought it was never going to happen because it's been so long. I think the sheriff only closed the investigation in October last year. That took almost a whole year just to close the investigation so that they could proceed to pressing charges. So they gave a plea deal to the assistant director, David Halls, for negligence with
Use of a deadly
firearm.
weapon.
Yeah, with a deadly weapon. And now the armorer and Alec Baldwin could face not only just involuntary manslaughter charges, but something even more severe, which is involuntary manslaughter in the commission of a lawful act. So involuntary manslaughter requires proof that there was underlying negligence. But if it's in the commission of a lawful act, that requires proof that it was more than simple negligence. And if you include the firearm enhancement, because a firearm was involved, that would make the crime punishable by a mandatory 5 years in jail.
Okay, let's take a vote here. And in the chat, you can join in on this as well. Is there any chance that he actually spends 5 years in prison?
I seriously doubt it.
Or is he going to put a hit out on the judge?
Look, my favorite part was like they're talking about like he had prior altercations with Hutchins.
Yes.
Like he was arguing with her because she apparently was like directing stuff on set, which a cinematographer isn't usually one to do. And he says he's big baby Alec Baldwin. He just doesn't know how to deal with his problems.
No, I don't buy that but you're implying that he went out and nefariously got real live ammunition.
It's funny
and murdered the
that
woman.
was already found though. That's in.
I know that was
the
found,
official
but
findings
to
they
assume,
found.
I think that's a ridiculous assumption to think that Alec Baldwin purposefully orchestrated this.
It's a movie.
Knives Out.
Look, it's a movie plot.
Investigators found 5 live rounds of ammunition mingled among the movie's props and costumes.
Wow.
A 4th bullet. Live bullet was in a gun belt worn by Alec Baldwin.
Yep.
Okay. So it was in his gun belt. There was one in the gun as well. He had motive and opportunity.
What's the motive?
Okay. Even in interviews after this already happened, Alec Baldwin recalled their interactions, and he basically expressed frustration that Helena Hutchins was arguing with him, telling him what to do on set over and over again as a cinematographer. He said that cinematographers aren't supposed to direct like that.
Okay, but not liking someone is not motive.
There was tension between the crew and the executives, and the crew was thinking about walking out of the project.
They could have replaced. Why couldn't have they replaced her? Like that's a big
reasonable
stretch.
question, but
See,
Alec Baldwin isn't a reasonable person.
I don't want to be reasonable.
I don't like
right
this
now.
because I think this is going to be used. That this is why we need more gun legislation. This is why I'm serious. This is going to be used. Look what happens on movie sets.
They already tried to pass two more legislative acts as far as restricting gun use on sets in California. Both of which failed.
How about they just invest in training and tell
that's
people
what I
to
said,
hey, pay attention.
Do your job.
Kellen, I agree, but you're asking all the reasonable questions and bringing up the reasonable answers.
We're not a reasonable podcast.
We're not a reasonable podcast. Hollywood is not a reasonable business, and Alec Baldwin is an insane sociopath. Like, even if he accidentally did this, which is what he claims, he even claims that he didn't pull the trigger. He said he still doesn't even feel bad.
That was the part that bothered me.
Any normal person,
even if they actually
would feel bad, even though it wasn't on purpose.
He cried, didn't he?
For himself.
For himself.
No, he said he doesn't feel bad in his interview. He said in his Dateline or 60 Minutes, in his interview he said I don't feel bad about it. He also maintains that he didn't pull the trigger. The gun just went off.
No, because people believe that guns fire themselves. That's why he said that.
I mean, if it's a prop gun that they were tinkering with, there's a chance of a misfire.
Not a prop gun. It's not a shot live ammunition.
Prop gun. It's a real gun.
Right, but they were what's the difference between a prop gun and a real gun? I mean, there's all this variation. A prop gun can be a gun that just shoots blanks, which is still a real gun.
Why was there live ammo on set?
That's a great question. Why don't you go and investigate? Like, there's got to be like.
Plus, he's a producer.
Other
so
members
at the
crew.
end of the day, the buck stops with him because he's the producer on the production.
I suppose this sets dumb precedent.
And the armor.
Also, this is what everyone's talking about. This. I remember this video that I saw the other day. If he had just been trained by his dad when he was younger.
I saw this video
Did you see this video the other day of the dad showing his son how to rack his weapon, eject the magazine and everything?
Rack it. Dump it. Magazine. Drop it. Rack it.
That's cute.
Dump it.
See that trigger discipline?
And I saw this video with a caption that was like, "See, it's right wingers that are grooming kids."
Yeah. Slow down.
As if it's comparable at all.
Man, if that kid's putting that many rounds on target, but he's gonna dump.
See, if Alec had just taught been taught this,
And look,
he would be fine.
Well, I was
Alec
just going to say,
Baldwin-
where's the training?
Alec Baldwin has a public history of being a hot-headed person, an impulsive, angry person. We have voicemails that he sent his 12-year-old daughter,
calling her
a
names,
pig, threatening to literally
listen,
hurt her.
I'm not arguing
It's like,
that
wait
this
until
guy
I see you.
isn't a POS, right? Like, I'm not arguing that Alec Baldwin is a saint or anything, but to charge him with manslaughter, I mean, I don't think he's gonna get convicted. I think he'll either take a plea deal for no jail time, or this is going to go to trial and it's going to be an insane trial.
Here's my other idea.
But he's not going to get convicted. They can't prove that he.
But
there's no intent.
There's
not
no
being
intent.
a dick is not.
There's no intent, but the manslaughter doesn't require intent, I don't think. And then on top of that,
Maybe.
if he's pointing the gun at somebody, which is something you should never do. Ever, like one of the first things you learn in any kind of gun safety course, any kind of training course with the gun, you don't point a gun at something unless you're trying to kill or end that thing, whatever it is.
I do
You
love
just don't
30
do
Rock.
that. And
Yeah,
he
but
pointed the gun at, and he.
That logic ends when you're filming a movie where you're
No,
trying.
she's not the shot though.
But she's a
Well, that's a
cinematographer.
good point.
Okay,
That's the thing.
you guys can talk about the law and all this stuff all you want. I got a better idea. I got a pitch for him for his next movie.
Okay.
What he does is he makes a movie about an action star who gets convicted of a firearms offense and therefore cannot be around guns anymore. So he can no longer make movies with guns. And the whole movie has to be about him running away from guns because he can't actually be around them. He can't actually possess one. See, that's what he needs to do. He needs to, if he doesn't go to jail, he needs to use it to make something creative. He's a sociopath.
People have
He'll be
already
fine.
memory hold this shooting so much that I'm even more suspicious of it.
Yeah.
Like, imagine the PR machine dedicated to reconstructing Alec Baldwin's reputation right now. Before, after, during this. I don't know if they're going to go to trial. That's yet to be seen. But when they do a preliminary hearing, I think that's when the detailed documents of the investigation are going to come out. And that's how we'll find out, how the live ammunition get on set.
Yeah.
In the first
Well, I mean,
place.
I think his argument is going to be I was talent. Even you said he was a producer too.
Yeah.
Or someone said
He's
he's
a
producer
He was the
too.
main producer on the
so,
project.
yeah, like it happened on your watch, but the armorer is who's going to get the bulk of these charges.
Yeah,
I mean, that was literally her job.
She's not even working in the industry anymore. She went to work for like a tattoo dealership, a tattoo parlor. She's like a security guard for a tattoo parlor. It's a
great.
tattoo dealership. Also, guys, I can't. People keep mentioning the names. I'm gonna change the names now, guys. I let it sit for
come
long enough. I'm sorry.
on.
I'm sorry.
I didn't even notice.
That's great. That was intentional. Just so everyone knows, it's not a reflection of Brett as a producer. I asked him before the podcast to change him specifically because I thought it would be fun. But I guess you guys don't like playing fun games.
Dude,
okay.
I just went
you
through
guys
some-
are anti-fun.
There's some
Get
PTSD there
it.
because my brother's name is Ben, so my whole life I've been called Ben.
No way. Oh, I'm
Like,
sorry.
literally my
Oh,
whole
man.
life. It's like Ben, Brett. Like it takes like 4 tries to get my name
I'm
correct.
sorry. I'm sorry. There's no live guns or ammunition on the set, is there right now?
No, no live, no live ammunition, no actual weapons loaded. So it's just really interesting because to me, I don't think this has been memory hold. I think most people remember this. It's just that it's been so long that it's just not going to be in the news every day. I think he ends up maybe paying the fine. He'll end up paying a fine and not serving any time. I don't see him actually getting convicted.
Any probation?
I do think that the DA is like virtue signaling with the no one is above the law thing. Like I don't think he's actually going to spend any time behind
Well,
bars.
when this first happened, the first articles I saw was like CGI is so good. Why don't we replace
I
all
hate
guns
that.
in movies?
I hate that.
And like the first person that comes to mind is Tarantino because he's so adamant about filming using real
film.
things. Like I forget what movie it was. What's the movie with the guy with not Death Note? Death Proof. Death Proof. He went around looking for a very classic car. I forget what the exact car was. Went to the first few buyers that he found. He's like, I'm going to crash it. I'm using it in a movie. I want a real, authentic car for a real, authentic crash. Yeah. And eventually he just stopped telling people that because they wouldn't sell him the car. They're like, you're going to crash this beautiful car? No way. So he buys the car just for one scene. A 5-second shot of a car plowing into another car. Real. And so as soon as this Alec Baldwin story broke, you saw people coming out and saying, no more guns. No more guns in the movies. No more explosions.
CGI blood and bullet in gunshots look horrible compared to squibs in actual and blanks. True. The other thing is like The Rock was saying that all his movies after this happened were all going to use rubber guns. There are some rubber guns that look semi-realistic if you don't look too closely. Similar to way I don't know if you know what a non-gun is. It's a non-functioning version of a firearm that they use on set. Those can look okay from a distance, but as soon as you look closely, you can tell it's not real.
Which is why we use real money.
Yes,
on set
real
here.
money on set here. Also, like I decided to pull up my favorite of the memes that came out after. There was so many.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That is true. This was more the Photoshop on it was just really, really good.
Yeah,
like that's
good.
I want to see Alec Baldwin with waves and
Yeah.
a fade and AirPods.
Yeah. So anyway, I started blasting.
Good one.
And then the other one was the one I stand behind Alec Baldwin because there's no way in hell I'm standing in front of him. Those were my personal favorites. Look,
Nice.
it's the morbid nature of the
Good
internet
stuff.
that this is the stuff that people were focusing on after that happened. But if we're going to be forced to, I mentioned yesterday, I was watching somebody mentioned on Twitter about there's this scene in the show Life that I've been rewatching where they use real tigers and there's this tense standoff where a bunch of cops are face to face with a real live tiger and you can't mimic that now. We were talking,
Right.
somebody in the chat mentioned fake bears because we're going to talk about cocaine bears soon. You can't use real bears anymore for something, especially for cocaine bear.
Yeah.
Like if we can't get the real animals and so much of what we do is CGI, the best thing we can do is take the things we can still use, which are firearms, things like this, and just train people better.
Well,
Yeah,
I have
absolutely.
a huge.
Her father worked on set. Her father, like Hannah Gutierrez Reed, her father's been an armorer in Hollywood for decades.
Talk about nepotism.
Yeah.
I was just gonna
And-
say
but-
that's come up a lot
And
recently.
think about how many productions go on every day in Hollywood with no problems
Right.
whatsoever.
Well, I was gonna ask. I don't know if you guys know. Is there? I'm sure there's been other times that actors and people have died on set.
Oh, yeah.
There have been,
there's
yeah.
The Crow.
Has there been like gunshot?
Yeah, The Crow.
Yep.
That was
That
the
was
big one.
Bruce Lee's.
It was Brandon Lee.
Brandon Lee, that's correct,
Michael
Bruce Lee's son.
Madsen was the one who shot him, and he took. Here's the thing: you mentioned earlier, you said he didn't even feel bad after. Look, Michael Madsen, after this happened on the set of The Crow, he took a year off. He took a year off acting because he felt so horrible about what happened. Because that's how an actual human being with emotions.
So
acts.
what happened there? Did they do an investigation?
There's like a blank.
got stuck in the
Yeah,
like
blanks still shoot a cart, like a part of the. I don't know exactly what it's called because it's a
Thank
blank. But they still discharge, and it's also been
the
another
paper
thing.
wadding, and it shot
Right, the paper
through
wadding,
and like
that's what
and,
it is.
and hit him in the chest.
Oh wow.
There's also been
Yeah.
other instances where actors have said, like jokingly, trying to think because they didn't understand that a blank round still shoots something out of the actual end of the gun, and he put it to his head and like shot himself literally.
Yeah.
as a joke, quite the joke. But
There's an episode of the show iZombie where they're in the show iZombie. There's a running joke of like a show within a show called Zombie High that they make fun of for being unrealistic about zombies. And there's a murder on the set of Zombie High where somebody gets shot with a prop gun, and you find out that prop gun was replaced. Because like they even have the thing where the detective Babineau he goes to the armorer and he's talking to the armorer and he's like, wow, this could be my weapon. They do all the same stuff, and that was an actual storyline from the movie where they find out that the prop gun was just replaced with a real one that shot live ammunition because the guy who got killed was negligent and wasn't a good person, so somebody on the set took him out.
wow.
I'm not saying that that's where Alec Baldwin got his idea from,
Oh my God.
but it's possible. Though I do love the idea of Alec Baldwin watching like CW shows at night in his trailer.
I mean, whether or not this was intentional, I think it's evident that Alec Baldwin is a sociopath or a narcissist anyway, just based on him saying that he had no remorse over the situation whatsoever. Whether it's a mistake or not, that should at least bother you like
No,
in
jail.
your conscience, but
Jail.
I don't think he has one. I think he's shown what kind of person he is behind closed doors in multiple situations. If you go and look up the voicemails that were leaked, the ones he sent to I believe his ex-wife and the ones he sent to his daughter, they're absolutely shocking. Like, he definitely is a hothead at the very least.
I was wrong. It was Michael Massey, not Michael Madsen. That was that. You guys are right in the chat.
Oh,
that
okay.
was Mike, and it's crazy too because Michael Massey is like one of those guys who's got like he's like a legit looking dude. Like he could play a villain. He played a villain his whole career, so it's kind of crazy. You look at this dude. Alec Baldwin just kind of looks like a normal dude. Michael Massey, when he's on screen, looks like an evil dude and felt guilty for years. So yes, chat, you are right. I had that one wrong. Mea culpa, ladies and
Jail.
gentlemen.
I still think jail.
Straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
Also jail.
Send people to jail because I don't like them.
Yes, jail. Just like Andrew Tate, jail. No evidence, jail.
Look, yeah,
Straight
hey,
jail.
free
Jail.
top G, we say here.
Yeah, I think free Cobra. I don't know until I see real hard evidence about whatever he's accused of, until it's like actually proven, not just hearsay from text messages. Again, it's always free Cobra. But it's not free Alec Baldwin. I think Alec Baldwin should go to jail just because I don't like him. Okay, guys? Hot take.
Yes, you're fair.
There's a hilarious line. I talked to somebody else about this. Like I've kept true to my word that I talk about a lot of like old shows that nobody remembers but me. There's a show called Las Vegas that was on NBC back in like the mid 2000s.
That's an amazing name.
Isn't it?
Las Vegas.
Isn't
Just
it?
Las
Las Vegas, yeah. And James Caan, incredible show. And he's in the show. He's got a friend who used to work for the CIA, played by Alec Baldwin. And he has this interaction with Marsha Thomason's character where he says, you want to know something about something crazy about men and women? She goes, what? He goes, men and women are different. And she's like, oh my God, that's so funny. Like nowadays you actually say that and he'd actually get in trouble for saying men and women are different. Things have changed
I think
greatly
that
since the
Alec
year
Baldwin
2000.
should go to jail for his Donald Trump impression.
Yes.
And also, he'll be inmates with
bad.
Gigi Hadid for her Melania impression that was equally terrible.
See, there could be a
Maybe
great
that'll
show
be
there.
A cringe of the day.
That is
Why
a good
didn't
show.
I actually thought the
watch that.
impression was pretty good.
That could
Alec
be.
Baldwin's or Gigi Hadid?
Oh, no, not Gigi's. Alec Baldwin. I mean, dude, he was doing it for what, 3 years, 2 years on SNL? So it had to be half decent.
A
Who
lot of
else
keep him
could have
around.
done it, I guess?
A lot of people.
It's the least bad option.
Was it Jamie Foxx that did the Trump impression? That was good.
There's plenty of
That
them who
was
can do
really
the voice.
impressive.
There's plenty of them who can do the voice really, really well. Have you ever heard the one where it's like him? It's Donald Trump doing giving directions to get somewhere.
No.
Oh yeah, I'll pull it up later, man.
I like
It's-
the video of Trump that just dropped where he's listening to Taylor Swift in the car. He's
Oh,
just
yeah.
I do too. And then
cruising.
there's Melania and I think
Barron.
Barron is in the car too. That was hilarious.
Also, if you don't follow the guy who makes all the Trump music, where he literally cuts up thousands of hours of Trump talking into songs, he's got a blinding.
He's doing the Lord's work.
He's got
truly.
a blinding lights one that's absolutely incredible, and he's got one where it's like, you know, like a lo-fi beats where it's like the kid like
Lo-fi
doing homework.
beats.
It's like that, but it's Donald Trump doing homework. Like, it's
tight.
I love
incredible.
that.
All right, let's go to super chats.
Andrew Jacobs said, lock Baldwin up, not just for involuntary manslaughter, but so we don't ever again have to see him do his painfully unfunny
Yeah.
Trump. Hi, Serge and Kellen. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
There you go.
Potatoes for Seamus said, Serge is always my main guest host. Kellen who?
Oh, ooh,
Oh.
Damn.
shots fired.
Savage. Porco Rosso Forever said, Brett, it's woman slaughter. That is woman slaughter to you, sir.
Well,
They slaughter.
Is there a them slaughter then?
Yeah, there has to be a
They,
damn
them
slaughter.
Oh my God, you're them slaughtering right now.
No, that's actually an interesting question. When are we going to have that happen? When something like somebody who has somebody who is identifies as a they them gets tragically hurt, you know, past the point of living. Am I allowed to say the rest of that? I have no idea. But, and then their parents who are very true to their identity says I want you charged for they them slaughter.
Them slaughter.
I-
Yeah, she said, that's an awfully dark parking lot. Will Mary return the cart? Probably not.
But it's an awfully hot coffee pot. That's the real question.
Awfully hot coffee pot.
I mean, to be fair, like, I don't want to go trekking in a dark parking lot at night. I'd
It's
rather
fun.
just
It's the
get
best
in my
time to
car.
do it.
Taco Bell Prince said, I'm rebranding myself. I'm reformed and back toots. Is this bad app?
And that's a weird way of spelling toots as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
T-U-T-Z.
How did-
That's
I don't
tuts.
know.
T-U-T-Z?
That's
Tuts?
tuts.
Hey,
King
tuts.
tuts.
Yeah.
King Tuts.
Toots?
Tati Plotty.
Should be a rapper named King Tuts.
King Tuts. Lil Tuts.
Lil Tuts.
Tuts, yeah.
I'm here for it.
Tati Plotty said, "This is thanks for extra content with the review earlier."
Look,
You're welcome.
We had a debate beforehand. Me and Mary take different approaches to these releases because it releases at midnight in California, which means it's 3 a.m. here, and I don't have it in me to like go process the trauma of waking up and then it's a joke. Yeah? And then so I don't want to watch it when I wake up, so I wait to go to bed before so I watch it. So basically I didn't have nightmares, but I didn't sleep very well after watching the garbage that is Velma episode 3 and 4. Garbage in the sense
you guys
that
are
it's
still doing that?
that
We are.
I worked
Sucks.
very hard to like try to steel man some arguments into like maybe there's some good that could be found here. Like I found some things that had the potential to be bright spots if they had just had a writer who didn't have autism and suck at life, but the
Damn.
writers are just really bad. Like just doesn't understand how to write humor that appeals to everyone. It's just didn't work.
Potatoes for Seamus said, "Serge, where my coffee?" Also, hello, Serge, Brett, and Mary.
Hello.
Why are you ignoring
Hey.
Kellen?
God.
This is so
Potatoes.
offensive.
Yeah, I don't
Potatoes
understand
woke
what's
up
up
and
with
shows violence
He
today.
did.
Yeah, that's,
Oh, I have to call this one out. Keenan Smith in the chat. Numbers, season 4, episode 2. Hollywood Homicide does the same thing. It does. Yeah, it does
Wow.
with this actor and his posse. Holy crap! I'm gonna have to go through. That's what I should have done today. I should have accumulated a list because actually, this is actually a funny thing to kind of bitch about. But I hate Hollywood meta humor. Like I don't like Hollywood
yeah.
shows where actors have
They
to pretend to be.
referenced Shonda Rhimes
Ugh.
in
Like-
Velma.
Yeah.
They literally gave a shout out to Shonda Rhimes.
Well, I'm not even saying that. Like, what I'm saying is, like, I hate Hollywood meta humor when an actor has to play an actor who's like vapid and self-obsessed.
Oh.
Like,
So-
I
Well, they
don't.
did that in Violent Night.
You didn't
and
like
you
Tropic
didn't mind
Thunder?
that.
But it wasn't the focus of the entire thing. Like, usually, if that's done in a TV show, it's the focus of an entire episode, and I
guess, yeah.
hate that.
Taco Bell Prince / Bad App. I'm not reading that. Biddy Beasley said, "Kellen, first you say that space is real. Now you say that guns can go off on their own. Credibility slacking, bro. For real. So not bussin'. Top G status revoked."
What?
Wow.
Wait. Space is.
Did you say that space is real?
Isn't it real? Like outer space?
Cringe, bro.
Oh.
Space is capping.
Sounds like
And-
a psyop to me.
Did you say that guns can go off on their own? I don't think
I'm
you
just
said
saying
that.
if they were already tinkering with it, well, didn't they say they were messing with it like in the back, like it wasn't actually being stored properly?
Well, I'm gonna
think
take you.
so.
Well, the
brother.
ammunition wasn't stored properly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, they were also shooting the gun on set. Like,
there were
And
loose
between-
bullets just
Yeah.
That's
on
the
a
craziest
prop
part to me.
cart, just
And then-
That's
like
crazy, man.
random.
And Hannah Gutierrez Reed is
I
like
don't
taking
know.
pictures of herself. She's like, "Oh my god, I'm on set today."
With proper
Like,
gun
people-
What's up,
care.
girl bosses?
There's like people like shooting guns behind her. She's like,
Dude,
this.
if it hadn't been Helena Hutchins, it would have been somebody else.
Right.
Because
Maybe.
the live ammo was there and it was going to be used.
I was
And
gonna
the
s-
thing is,
which
so that's-
which bolsters the argument that he really wanted to get rid of her.
right,
he's-
and the thing again about everyone that's ever been, I guarantee that Alec had been in a situation where he'd been told by an armor, by anyone that's involved in firearms, don't point the gun
yeah.
at
Right.
another person.
Even
That's
at
why
a
never
it's,
show.
point of,
it's
never
rule
pointed
one.
at
It's
Keep your
rule
finger off
one.
the trigger.
You don't do that.
Well, I was
You
gonna
just
say
don't do
if
it.
all like actual gun safety practices, and there's not many rules to follow, but if they were followed,
the only one.
it wouldn't. Yeah, well, don't point. Keep your good trigger discipline.
Trigger discipline. That's
Um,
number 2, I guess you could say. Number
Know
2.
what ammo you're putting
Well,
into
okay,
the firearm.
Yeah, that's
even
huge.
with the
Come on.
defense that he was waving it around at people as a joke, from the context that the crew and the executives didn't get along, they wouldn't even be joking around like that
Yeah,
socially.
It's not that funny.
Here's the
it's
other
not that funny.
Here's the other thing. This movie is going forward. Remember,
Yeah.
they're
I
still
know,
making
it's
this movie.
crazy.
I want.
When's this coming out? Next
I
year?
would want to be on set the day they have to pick that scene back up right where they left off. To be that first, like, can you imagine the pin drop?
All right,
like, in
where
the
were
room
we?
Where he's like, where he's got the gun pointed, and then he's like, click. Ugh. Like,
You think? Oh, see, well, that's exactly my whole criticism of this entire thing is: do we even get a scene with him shooting anybody now?
Are they going to put Helena Hutchins' rest in peace in the beginning of the movie or at the end of the victim
Are they gonna? That's a good question.
he
That's
met
huge.
he
That's
met with
huge,
her
guys.
husband like the day after the incident happened.
Did he victim blame?
No, I mean,
I mean, we have no evidence what happened,
Yeah,
but that's awful.
Let's read one more, and then let's move on.
The last of my kind said, a prop gun has welded inserts in the barrel to prevent it from shooting any projectile. They're only designed to fire blanks, however. Blanks are still deadly at close range.
Yeah.
Rust used a real gun. Hashtag jail. Hashtag jail.
Jail. Straight to jail.
Straight to jail. Guys, before we move on, I want to say, before we keep going, the channel's been growing quite a bit lately, so thank you. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please do so. Leave comments on this video. Leave comments on past videos if you've checked them out. If you're in the live chat today, do that. Let's keep going, shall we?
We're very close to 50K.
We are getting right. Like, we're going to get to 50K any day now, so thank you.
So start hiring bot accounts. Like, start bot farming so we get to 50K, guys.
Come on, Top G's. Let's go.
Yesterday,
Let's go.
Yesterday there was like trolls in the chat. I'm like, that's nice. Like, that's, like somebody's there who doesn't want.
The haters are music to my ears.
We talk a lot about how like we have like one of the nicest chats. Like out of all the live chats, ours is really nice. And there was somebody just being really mean yesterday, and I'm like, it reminds me of the good old days of the internet. So thank you guys.
Yes.
All right, we're moving on. So, The Last of Us makes for good TV, but a tough watch after a real pandemic, says Kotaku.
Okay, I will
Kotaku.
admit, in the first
Kotaku's the
cold
worst.
open for The Last of Us, I did feel like they were kind of referencing COVID stuff.
Yep.
Like in a way.
Oh yeah, they
that's,
were.
Yeah, like, but it didn't really land because I never took it seriously.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just because like if you were more informed, like if you knew it was coming before it happened, like was it last time were we talking about like Styx Hexenhammer was talking about it like a month or two before it even made it to America. So it's like you knew this was coming. Like I don't think anybody really predicted the toilet paper shortage per se, but they knew that this was coming, right? So, and if you're already predisposed to question whether the media is actually telling you the truth, it's why I gave a lot of leeway to a lot of people, why they were had the bejesus scared out of them by everything. But the author of this article is barely saying, it says, I'm barely a minute into the premiere of the episode of HBO's TV treatment for The Last of Us, and I'm already uncomfortable. No one has died yet, and no one's speaking in cringeworthy Texas accents. I can't tell if they're saying because other accents are cringy or because they just don't like people from Texas.
Because they hate Southern people.
No one's died yet. No one's speaking in a cringeworthy Texas accent. But as two experts chat about the threats to human society from airborne illnesses, I realized that I'm not quite sure if I'm in the mood for this kind of fiction. The first thing this reminded me of...
Who wrote this?
The first thing that this reminded me of, guys, I still remember... years before I worked here, reading an article from either the Mary Sue or Kotaku reviewing House of Cards, and they make a big deal like, this show was fun in the Obama administration. It's not so fun in the Trumpian era of politics. Like the idea like corruption can be fun to watch as long as you trust the corrupt people in charge.
No, your ability to enjoy television was actually degraded because you have mentally deteriorated with your obsession over politics.
I was just going to say, how about stop watching TV if you're that uncomfortable?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like if there's stuff that bothers me, I just don't watch it.
What's rich to me is a journalist of all people complaining about the trauma of COVID and lockdowns when it was journalists who in large part wanted to enforce those regulations that kept us locked down, that are still keeping us locked down.
The comment section on this article is all people saying Biden's not going far enough with the COVID restrictions.
Right. So it's exactly the people that inflict these things that are now talking about their trauma. Like, what about the trauma of the people who are unwillingly locked up?
Right.
Yep, and they talk about as the first episode moves on, building up to the death of the main character's daughter, an eventual 20-year flash forward, I found myself in a state of anxiety, remembering all the fear and uncertainty of COVID, particular in the early days of 2020, both the virus and the United States government's criminally fraught response.
This part is crazy. I dreaded watching an amplified mirror image rendition of our world slip into the chaos of a public health crisis mismanaged. Mismanaged is right, but not the same way you're talking about it.
I was just going to say.
I recognize that not everyone will make these types of associations, but given the world-changing gravity of the pandemic, it's hard for me not to go there.
So this person, Claire
Wow.
Jackson, she really thinks that we were that close. Like, you guys watched the episode, right?
Yeah, she
so
thought
there's-
the world like we were about to end the enter the
it's
end
like
times.
it reminded me of like reminded me of Red Dawn, when you had like the
Oh, yeah.
rebels
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah.
fighting back and like little skirmishes in the streets.
I wonder if it
She
affects
thinks
her.
that's gonna happen. She
Yeah.
thinks that's what she lived through. And remember,
There are
remember,
like planes
Probably.
crashing in the sky.
and her conclusion to all of this is, you're the problem. You're the
Yeah.
problem, right? You guys didn't wash your hands well enough. You didn't wear your mask. It's not the over-oppressive government deploying all their soldiers to keep you locked inside your quarantine zone.
Yes,
right?
more of all of that. It's also funny. I'm like, I wonder if like I talk a lot about how like before I did this job, I would have a little bit of trouble watching new stuff from actors if they were particularly annoying on Twitter. I've kind of like that injury is kind of calloused over now. I can watch just about anything. I don't really care. You could be the biggest. Like, I can watch Alec Baldwin in 30 Rock and still enjoy 30 Rock.
You're a
even
bigger
if,
man than
even
I
if
am.
Alec Baldwin is a sociopath that I can't stand, I can still enjoy it. But I wonder if she can retroactively go back and watch The Walking Dead.
Or
Does that bother her?
what was the one with
true.
what was the one with the actual pandemic that took over the world? It was like the movie's about them trying to find the cure.
Contagion?
Contagion.
Contagion.
Yeah,
Contagion
I bet
was
that's
good
like
with
a
Gwyneth
horror movie
Paltrow.
for her.
Right.
Right. I
Um,
mean, I just find it ironic because in The Last of Us, you see Joel now 20 years after the initial outbreak living in a military dictatorship. And you see that, like, even if society itself collapses, you will still have authoritarians who are trying to control people. And that's an inescapable folly of humanity. And that's what should make you scared when you watch the show.
Yep.
Not the mismanagement of a pandemic that, we weren't locked down enough.
There weren't enough twerking nurses at the on
weren't
TikTok.
enough twerking
Like, we
nurses.
didn't, there were no twerking nurses. Like, if we had just had
There weren't enough pointless Zoom meetings, and
like
my N95 isn't tight enough.
well, she likely wrote this article with an N95 on.
Yeah.
Like, it's very likely
It
In
seems
her
like
car
there's no-
alone.
in her car.
Yeah, this is like there's a lack of oxygen to her brain. For a lot of
Definitely.
these
Well,
things
it
to really
is
have any
quite sad,
weight.
but the pandemic very much did create an entire generation of agoraphobes.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Or maybe
and-
it's
and
already made it worse. Than
their
it already
fear
was.
is very real, which is as ridiculous as it sounds. It's tragic that they
it's
feel
a phobia.
This way.
It's an actual
sad.
phobia.
In the chat, they're mentioning 12 Monkeys. Yes, 12 Monkeys. And 12 Monkeys was a very underrated TV adaptation. Of all the things that you could make into a movie, Amanda Schull in that. And I always forget that actor's name, but he's like, I talk about him because he's the least likely leading. It's Aaron Stafford or Aaron Stanford. He's like, he kind of gets leading roles, but he's kind of a dork. Look, like he doesn't look like a leading man. He looks like the sidekick, but he kind of always comes out in better roles. So the 12 Monkeys TV show is actually not that
Okay.
bad. It was a sci-fi show.
I think that post-apocalyptic stories in movies and TV are popular right now because we have a lot of anxiety about are we living in a precarious situation ourselves, and like the upcoming scarcities of a recession, and just like our insecurities about living in this fragile thing that is like the first world in modernity, But these people writing articles like this are so isolated from any actual problems. Like, they are living in complete comfort. They are catered to. They get all of their food delivered right to their door.
Ivory
And they
towers,
think that,
yeah.
that the food originates right there on the shelves
It's
of a
just
grocery
literally,
store.
it's just literally
It
They
spawns.
think that.
It just spawns, guys.
But like
The
when
Uber driver just ends up in the Uber driver's car
Yeah.
as
right.
he's driving it to their
they
house.
just, spawn into reality perfectly just for you. But when you see any other death or crime or war or real suffering portrayed on TV, they watch that and they don't say, "Wow, I'm reminded of all of the death and the war and the bloodshed in the real world," because they don't encounter any of it.
Yeah.
So they're fine with that being portrayed.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's and a lot of it's probably a lot of media. They've watched a lot of media. Like somebody mentioned The Last Ship. The Last Ship was a really good show. Adam Baldwin, not Alec Baldwin, the far better
Baldwin.
and not related Baldwin, not related to
really?
not related to the other Baldwins. The other Baldwins also like the one, is it William Baldwin? I don't know what his name is, but he's a lot skinnier than Alec Baldwin. Looks like a weasel.
Alec Baldwin is best known for being Haley Baldwin's uncle.
Yes. when we did our video on Haley Baldwin and the Nepo baby thing, I labeled the video "Alec Baldwin's niece doesn't like being a Nepo baby" because I'm petty.
I loved it. I love your petty side.
What if she does the Trump impressions for SNL because he's locked up?
That would be
It's in
good.
the blood.
And it's not just they're sectored off from the rest of the world because they do it to themselves because they all live in the same part of California.
Right.
Or New York.
Or New York or
They all live
California.
in Calabasas.
No, I don't. The journalists don't live in Calabasas.
No,
they're
the
making money,
journalists
but they're
don't.
not making Calabasas
Yeah,
money.
that's very true.
They're living.
I thought you were referring to Alec Baldwin.
No. I'm talking about the journalists. Like the journalists are all part of their elite class, and they're talking themselves into a fervor because they're in their Slack chats, they're in their Facebook groups or whatever. Like they don't use Facebook.
They
but
call
use
each other folks with an X
with
at
an
the
X,
end.
yeah,
Worst.
and they
I
say
hate that.
y'all, and they start with y'all because it gets everyone's attention.
I wanna know-
I thought y'all was like a racist term for everybody. I thought,
Well, they
you weren't
like
supposed to
trash
say that.
Southern people
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then use their lingo.
Right, and then they
That's
wear
cultural
Folks
appropriation.
and y'all.
They wear the
Folks and
cowboy
y'all.
hats and the boots and everything like that, and they want to have this whole like
And they have
1850s
mullets.
aesthetic, but they don't want to have any of the
Yeah.
1850s social connotations.
I want to
so-
know, why do you guys think that post-apocalyptic content is so popular in media right now?
because the world's ending.
Is it
Is
possible?
it?
No,
Be
it's
in
been,
fear.
it's been. I mean, post-apocalyptic
popular.
and dystopian media has been popular long before
I was
the
just gonna
world
say,
cracked open in
I feel like
2016.
Yeah, true.
it kind of slowed down when the pandemic hit. Like Black Mirror canceled
It was
its
too
show
real.
because they were like, it's really happening.
Like
too
even
real
when I
now.
see zombies,
That
I'm
was
just like,
gay.
zombies? We're still doing
dumb.
zombies,
Yeah,
huh?
right.
We're still doing zombies? That's
That's the
When-
craziest
well,
thing about this. Is like it's like I know the game like tangentially. It's about like zombies, right?
it's a fungal.
Yeah,
type
fungal
of-
infection, zombies, etc. And I understand the very beginning of the pandemic. I was also nervous about everything. I was like, we don't know what this is going to be like. It could end up being like Ebola, which is named after the Ebola River Valley in Congo, which people don't seem to remember. It's not just a name of a virus, which is what we do with viruses. We name them after a particular place. So I call it Wu Flu.
not anymore.
Yeah,
It's
not
racist.
anymore. Now you can't say that because it's racist. But I just don't understand why everyone was. We've since learned it's not that. I've had the thing. I've survived, guys.
Yep.
I'm not a zombie. Like it's not. I don't understand the relation to this, and the fact that you're relating it to this is like it's
Because
wild to me.
the breakdown, the disconnect is the critical thinking. People are
Yeah.
people are
Doesn't
recognizing the phenomenon that is. Woo! Oh,
Thank
whoa.
you.
Is this a new one?
Yeah, it's a new one.
Nice.
Is that's John
Does
McClane?
need to be louder.
I turned it down earlier.
That's McClane.
Why'd you
right?
do that?
That's Die Hard.
Because Tim was recording and I didn't want it. When I reset it, I didn't want it to.
Oh, you could just be me and walk in
Yeah.
on accident
Yeah.
and then suddenly close the door.
Welcome to the party, pal.
But yeah,
What you should do when you open the door is be like, "Are you okay?"
You sound stressed.
everything okay in
You
here,
sound
Tim?
stressed.
Sorry, but you were saying, Kellen?
no, people are recognizing the very real phenomenon that is encroaching oppressive power. Government gets thrown around all the time, but any group that's trying to be oppressive is problematic. And so people are recognizing that. Like, oh my God, there are large amounts of people trying to control what I do or say, but then they can't come to the right.
Yeah.
They come to an absurd conclusion that is, I'm the problem. Wait, you guys, we're all the problem because we're not doing X, Y, and Z.
My other problem with this is like they say it's a tough watch, but it's a relevant watch because it speaks to our real world. Shut up!
No,
it
it's
doesn't
not.
speak to our real world experience. It's a story, you dork.
Yeah.
Like it's one of these things where they always. It's kind of the idea of the fake deep stuff that they love. They love the idea of like media that reflects our current society, or it's
so tired of that.
it's speaking truth to power. Like literally, as you repeat every mainstream slogan that's ever been said in the
Right.
history of the
I mean,
world.
in any zombie themed post-apocalyptic movie or TV show, the real adversary is always the other survivors.
Yes, it's never
not
the actual
zombies.
the zombies
The zombies are
never
a backdrop to the
Yeah.
human conflict, which is what you're supposed to pay attention to when you watch The Last of Us.
Well,
it's a struggle of human power.
It's the same problem with The Walking Dead, right? Every year it was the same complaint.
That- I
Not
was
enough
just
zombies,
gonna push
way
back.
too much human drama back
There's
and
that
forth.
one guy
So-
like Negan or whatever
Yeah.
his name was.
Well, so The Walking Dead, it maybe went on for too long. I think it was like 10 seasons, 11 seasons. They just announced the
Seriously?
conclusion.
Wow.
Yeah. I think it had a fantastic arc that made sense. The first 2-3 seasons
Yeah.
were dominated by the survivors just getting wrecked by zombies. By the 5th, 6th, 7th season, they've built communities. They're like, hey, if we just like group together and build a 10-foot wall, the zombies can't get to us.
Yeah.
And that's where
Whoa,
they
no
introduced the
way.
other humans, because it truly
Wall.
does. So it's like an evolution of human. It was
Yeah.
kind of the theme,
Conflict.
coming from cave men to actual functioning society.
He's talking about the season where the one I played you the other day, Game of Thrones. The Walking Dead season 6 Comic-Con trailer is one of my favorite trailers of all time to the song Arsonist Lullaby. And there's this amazing line that I will remember forever as being the worst delivered line that I've ever heard in a trailer, and I've heard a lot of really bad ones. But it's this girl. She's like on the steps. She's like, "This is our reality now." He's like, "We have to fight because if we don't, we die." It's just so badly
And
delivered.
we were just listening to
I
the
didn't see
trailer
that.
for
Yeah.
the Netflix 2023 lineup of
Yeah.
movies,
And there's-
and one of the lines was, "Something is happening, and I don't trust them."
I don't trust them. And
I
it's
don't trust
like
them.
literally you can see the other actors like, I don't believe a word this lady's saying. Like
Gotta get that paycheck. Gotta get that paycheck.
It's really funny. Like it's one of my favorite things in movies. This is kind of an aside. Is I love going through trailers and listening to them stitch together lines that are not together. Like that
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
like they
that's
never
great.
say it in the thing.
That's great.
There's in the season 10 trailer of the X-Files. They have a thing where they tee up in the beginning because they kind of turned it into like a spy and subversion, a government subversion
Yeah.
thing, more than just aliens.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of really funny ones where like Mulder's like they're trying to have Mulder introduce Scully. He's like, I can't do it alone. Like it's like 4 different like.
You know who loves to
I
do
can't
that
do it
is
alone.
FX. FX does those little commercials like FX
Yeah,
has the movie.
totally.
Yeah.
And it's a whole bunch of stuff
Yeah.
that aren't real scenes. It's just stitched together
Yeah.
nonsense.
And like earlier in that, like the guy's like, that government spent hunting for like 50 years, and I'm just like, I'm watching, I'm just like giggling, and someone's like, what's fun? I'm like, you wouldn't get it. Like it's like the things that amuse me wouldn't amuse you, I'm sure.
They
but
try and
like,
they try and make it sound like plausible because they adjust the reverb in the room and
Yeah.
everything like that to make it sound like it works. But the problem is, if one scene is someone yelling versus someone talking
Yeah.
or like whispering,
or
you're
if you have
never gonna be
headphones
able to
on.
fit.
Like
Yeah,
if you're listening
yeah.
with headphones, you can
You can-
hear
yeah,
the
you can
pop
tell.
right
You can
right
definitely
away.
tell, yeah.
But I love stuff like I have like a whole playlist on my YouTube that's all just trailers. Like 'cause I love catching this stuff in trailers because now remember we talked recently about how they can't false advertise in trailers anymore. They're gonna get in trouble. Those guys sued Paramount or whatever for $5 million because Ana de Armas didn't appear in their movie. Now they're like, Mulder didn't say that in that episode of the X-Files. I want $5 million.
Yeah.
I want that.
They also show different things in like on the last episode flashbacks.
Yeah.
Than are actually in those episodes.
Yep.
I always found that bizarre.
Can't do that anymore. So yeah, I just think like it kind of speaks to the fact that we really do now, depending on where you get your media, depending on how much you trust government, state-run media, all this stuff, you really are living in a completely different world than the person you're walking down the street next to.
Yeah,
and this is a very, very extreme example of that, where you're like, really? Like maybe if this had come out in 2021. Maybe I could kind of, sort of, maybe I'd still make fun of you for it, but I could understand the panic. But we're like years
we're-
on
yeah.
now.
Well-
Like this isn't the box office anymore, where they're still blaming the
was
pandemic for
just
bad box office
Well,
numbers.
the box, like, there is no social square anymore. Like,
Yeah.
the social square is online, and online it's
Algorithm.
tribal.
Public square?
And it's algorithmically
Public square?
based.
Social square, yeah, public square, right?
That's
There's not people going to an actual movie theater anymore and staying outside for a premiere, waiting in line for tickets and talking about what they might think based on the trailer. That's not happening.
You ever see
anymore.
those old videos of like kids lined up for days outside of like Best Buy to get like an Xbox
yeah.
or like an N64 back
Yeah,
in the
that
day?
doesn't happen
like,
anymore.
You don't
Just
really
wait
see
for
that. You
Amazon.
just
That was
pre-order.
amazing. I know.
I mean, I don't know if that was much better than what we have now.
It was totally better.
It was awesome.
totally
yeah,
better.
dude.
Consumerist identity.
In school, we'd totally be jealous of the kid. We're like, oh, he's not in school today. Oh, He's waiting in line. He's at Best Buy, right? He's getting the new PlayStation. Yeah.
He's not feeling well today.
Yeah. I was like, oh, dude, his parents are awesome.
It's like when people say, "Oh, the '90s were so much better," and they were better, but we were already on a very quick
trajectory
path to decline. Like there was no way that something like the '90s could have existed for more than a decade.
So really, it was our fault for not appreciating it while we had it. And
I didn't have it, but
a lot of that is more like the world was just less connected.
Yeah,
so realistically, a lot of the same, those people that disagree with you, that make the world feel awful to you, still existed. They just weren't able to text you and send you a message on social media telling you why you're awful.
I've also thought about this a lot too. And whenever cultures are introduced to each other for the first time, there's a clash. Yeah. And I don't mean a physical fight, but there's always bumps and bruises and obstacles that you have to overcome before ultimately a new culture or an updated culture is born from it. And the internet, for a while, when we first started talking to everyone from all different parts of the planet, that didn't quite happen, didn't quite set in because the internet was still new. We were still trying to figure it all out. Now we're at the point where we're just getting cultures clashing left and right. People are having these heated online debates online, on Twitter, on Instagram, where they think this is real life with people they would have never seen or interacted with without the internet.
That's like you never would have interacted with them before.
Yeah, and it's like their morals, like they cannot agree. They cannot come to a common conclusion or a common answer.
Thank you, guys.
Because they're so vastly different. And I think that seeps into everything, like especially into movies and shows and
guys,
everything.
You ever heard the song April 26, 1992
Oh,
by
I
Sublime?
love that song.
The culture wasn't that different. I mean, it was, but if you listen to the song April 26, 1992 by Sublime, there's a lot of the same cultural conflict in that song that we're experiencing now, just from a different time and from an artistic perspective.
But now what we have is that song is posted on an online platform where everyone's arguing in the comments.
Oh man, there's a
people are
YouTube,
getting inspired. Like
there's a YouTube video up right now, like that's been up for years, where you have to. It's like age restricted, where it's that song and it's. Instead of a music video, it's footage of the LA riots.
Oh, really?
The song April 26, 1992 is a song about the Rodney King riots that were going on. And the whole video is cut together with actual like handy cam footage of various people rioting and going through, like there's police brutality, there's people destroying businesses. It's really, really like, it's kind of like moving in a way. I don't know if it was meant to be that way, but it's kind of a snapshot in time of what was going on. The reality is that now there is no like united culture the way it would have felt in the 90s. So this journalist just lives in a different world, and therefore watching The Last of Us is traumatizing. It's traumatizing.
It's ridiculous.
Let's go to Super Chats. Corn Pop sent us a hot dog.
Well, thank you.
Awesome, Corn Pop.
Big Dave sent us 99 cents without a message. Thank you, Big Dave.
Also, I want to point out, guys, that I still see a bunch of messages like Tim says that pop culture crisis is in the red. Well, then send him a message.
Give us money.
Yeah,
and
give us money, guys.
Like, I'm saying, be part of the problem, be part of the solution.
Russell Tander said, if you search Alec Baldwin Hitman green text, you'll find a Reddit post of Anon is on a mission, a short green text, request you guys give it a read right now. I don't know.
Serge will do it.
Maybe
I would
if we check
Preps
it
tomorrow.
beforehand.
Yeah, preps tomorrow.
Huli Upi send us $2 without a message.
Nice.
Potatoes for Seamus said, hi, Kellen. Serge is king and Mary is the boss.
Okay.
And I'm chopped liver.
Hey, he was ignoring me at first.
Huli Upi said, shout out to Mac Miller. Today is his birthday. R.I.P. King. Hello, all. Thank you for getting me through my workday. Much love.
The person who sold him the tainted drugs went to jail.
Did he?
Got
Good.
convicted. Yep, got convicted.
Good.
Philip Reed said, who here remembers 2008 to 2012 Nightcore scene on YouTube?
Nightcore was one of those things that I wanted to like it. I never like
really
I
worked.
still like it.
I loved it in concept. I
You
love the art.
Your personality is like lo-fi, and mine is nightcore.
Yes. Well, like I love the artwork. I loved all the artwork that was associated with any Nightcore album that was
Really?
Yeah, any of like
Just anime girls.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but a lot of like there was people doing a lot of like really cool like dark tones to a lot of it and changing a lot of it. I liked it, but it's like a lot of it was like it's songs and I'm like this could be great, and then it just never ended up really hitting me the same way. But it kind of feels like it like led into like the trend we see now with TikTok where everything's sped up or slowed down.
Yeah.
Chubbs
Totally,
is
actually.
Farman said, we thought Mary was the Fed, so PCC went out and got Kellen.
Yeah, we just traded like Mary actually got
Now Kellen is the Fed?
Now here's the thing. Mary was the Fed. She got fired, and then they hired Kellen. Kellen
Did
showed
they
up
kill me and replace me
They
with a
cloned
clone?
Mary.
mysteriously.
Yeah, they
2
cloned
days
Mary.
later, Kellen showed up and just started working here. Like Tim's like, "Who's that?" And we're like, "We don't know." And he's just like, "Yeah, I'm the new employee." And he's like, "You are?" And he's like, "Yeah." So he's just it was mysterious circumstances.
Yeah.
You are very clearly the Fed. Which I'm sure-
Especially
that is
wearing a
Fed-
collared shirt.
It's a Fed shirt. If
guys
I've
are
ever
Wait,
seen
you
it.
guys have some
He doesn't have the
club,
high fade,
Club
though.
Master sunglasses.
He doesn't have the high fade or the
You're like,
shorts.
damn, that sucks what Alec Baldwin did. Does anyone here have unregistered firearms?
Have you seen any of the new laws that have gone into a place here in the state of Maryland for firearms ownership? I'm just wondering. He's like holding up a notebook.
Do you guys
Hey,
know
Serge.
where the firearms club that meets that we
Serge.
don't know about is meeting today?
Are you vaxxed and relaxed?
No, I'm not vaxxed. Pure blood for life.
Vaxxed and relaxed, bro. It's the way.
Nope. No. I'm not vaxxed.
Said, howdy PCC crew and guests. I'm eating raspberry rally Girl Scout cookies. They are sinfully delicious. Support your local pint-sized entrepreneurs. Make mine marvel. Never.
They are not.
I will never.
They are not.
I will turn their tables upside down.
That's it.
No, I have no point. I'm saying it's not. They're not mini entrepreneurs. It's mini slave labor.
Yeah.
They
it
don't
kind
get
of is.
paid. It's
No.
mini. It's
I don't
slave
care.
labor.
They're
It's money that goes to
pro-choice.
the-
That's
to the
my
thing.
problem with them.
Yeah, true. Something strikes me that you probably were never a Girl Scout.
No.
Yeah, okay.
I
True
would
that.
have never been initiated into such an evil organization in the
Man, they
first
got
place.
some good cookies though.
True that. Yeah.
I'll steal them. I'm fine with that.
Mary's like
God.
Illuminati. Not sure. Don't know enough about
I'm
it.
gonna
But Girl
steal
Scout
Girl
cookie,
Scout
Girl
cookies.
I'm
Scouts.
just writing down all these crimes of Mary's over here since I'm the Fed. Stealing Girl Scout cookies.
Like you
theft
look
of
at his
go-
laptop, he's literally just got like the FBI database pulled up.
I'm
and
gonna
we're
be
just
like,
not
do
paying
you know
attention."
your organization funds abortion? Do you know that?
Hey guys, what's that link for that Twitter portal so I can report Mary's
No.
Twitter
Nope.
account?
Perturbed Alpaca said, treat every weapon as if it were loaded. Never point
Correct.
a weapon at anything you do not intend to shoot.
Correct.
Keep your fingers straight and off the trigger until you
Correct.
intend to fire. Keep your weapon unsafe until you intend to fire.
That's
Bet.
yeah.
Thank you.
It's
Honestly,
really funny for the
you should reread that one for anyone in the chat who may have never
For
taken
the people
a,
in the back of
Yeah.
the class. who
No,
don't know.
seriously,
Yeah,
it's very basic information, and
Yeah.
it could have saved Alec
saved a life.
Baldwin.
Last week
Well, his
when they
career.
were doing a
Say
vlog
Alec
thing
Baldwin.
here. They were doing a vlog thing here, and they left one of the airsoft guns out, and like
Those are realistic looking
Isn't that
weapons.
I brought it downstairs and like just instantly like removed the magazine, pulled back the slide, and like went downstairs, and they were laughing at me. And I
Yeah,
was
I
like,
know.
look, I was going downstairs where there's literally like someone
It's like an MP5.
security that's armed. I'm not
Yeah.
walking around with
Yeah,
just
you're right.
no.
With a gun that looks hyper realistic.
Just being safe.
Yeah. Good
High
move.
Voltage 75 said 24-hour marathon stream to celebrate 50K. Absolutely not.
I got it in me. Let's go.
Brett can do it on his own. I will not be doing
I mean,
that.
have you ever seen that guy who like gets paid to like stream and you try to wake him up?
Yes,
Like-
it's been
like,
happened a
that's-
few times.
I could
few
be
different
psychotic.
people.
I could make because what I wouldn't. Well, I
weird.
can't. I'd have to like not tell them like I'm deaf in one ear, so I could just sleep on my good ear and like, oh no, you guys are being so loud and annoying.
Did you guys see do you guys know who Penguin Zero is or Moist
Yeah,
Critical? Or whatever?
Moist
Okay.
Critical.
So did you see the video he did recently of like this Twitch streamer that has like it's like she doesn't do anything. She just continuously hypes the stream for like hours.
I love it.
And then
What
she
do you
and
mean?
then
She
okay, it's
hypes the
crazy.
stream.
She hypes the stream up as if she's gonna reveal herself or like come on and do something. She just keeps saying like more super chats, need more money and more super chats in order for me to do this. And it's like hours, literally.
People eventually just go away and don't realize they got scammed.
Yeah, they get scammed.
Is
and
that
she comes
fraud?
No, because she does come on. I think she thought about this. She comes on screen for maybe like 5-10 minutes. She doesn't really do anything. She's like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" Blah blah blah, and then she walks off. It's ridiculous, but she
I
streams
mean,
for like hours, and she
good
gets
for
tons of
her,
super
I
chats.
guess.
Yeah, I guess she's still
That's
like
that's a skill.
Twitch titty streamer, if you will. But she does get a lot of viewers, and she is shooting up in the rankings on Twitch, and it's just the wildest thing because all she does is hype. It is so weird.
Yes, guys.
So
Twitch is a weird place.
Again, that is another cause for me to remind you guys, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. The growth is like, it feels like we got through like some type of barrier because growth is like picked back up. It slowed to a crawl for a while, and it seems like it's ticking back up.
Thank you.
People are really what it is they feel bad for us like suffering through Velma, so they're subscribing out of pity, like literally because they're watching us torture ourselves.
You know what we should do? We should just go old school and print out a bunch of flyers.
I like it.
And just start walking around the downtown areas in the
At
area.
the community centers,
like,
in the libraries.
Hey, best thing I've ever seen right here.
Do you have a moment to talk
it
about our
out.
Lord and Savior pop culture crisis?
Rolando A. Ramirez said, we were expecting a zombie outbreak for COVID. Reality is disappointing, and the Fireflies are crazy radicals in the game on their last legs.
That's another funny. It's like there was a lot of memes that were like this isn't the apocalypse I wanted. Like this apocalypse. It's like it's just like it's like the apocalypse I thought I'd have, and it's a dude. He's got his fatigues. He's got his M4 and all this stuff. And then it says the apocalypse I got, and it's just a dude eating DoorDash with like a bunch of stuff, and he's like fat now
in his house.
Like, yeah.
Do you think there's small rumors that Fallout will end up making it to either a movie or a TV show?
Say it again?
There's rumors, like very small rumors that Fallout or Bethesda's planning a Fallout.
I mean, that makes sense,
TV
right?
show.
That makes sense. Like they really do need to just heed our warning and just start making one-for-one shot remakes. It's easier. It's less effort and people will be happier. But no, we don't want to make people happy. We want to educate them about the message.
They should hire people who worked on the original campaigns, like those designers and directors, and at least bring them on for a part of the project. I mean, like I always remember.
They're not interested.
Maybe, but like, so they're talking about the Gears of War movie, right? Might be a thing now.
Yeah.
That's coming. What's the guy that wants to play the wrestler? I can't think of his name right now. He was just in
Dave Bautista.
Dave Bautista. It was like, oh, I'm the best. He wants to do it, and I always remember of just how good the actual cinematic experience was during Gears of War 2's campaign, and it's like it's a hard task to recreate that. So it's like just talk to the guys that did it originally and get their input.
Well, they can't do that because how do you inject a bunch of lame, like paint by numbers social messaging if you actually have to like follow the script and do it this way? It's interesting though, because I did see some people kind of on Mary's side saying like, look, I didn't sign up for the same thing to be made over and over again. So I think your criticism is valid. I think that just most people are so rubbed unbelievably raw by how bad Hollywood is with their reboots and their remakes that they're like, they would rather get something under their belt where they actually make something true to story than watch them change a bunch of stuff for the sake of some director's vanity or some writer's vanity.
Yeah.
Quick Savelt said, just reminding everybody, Alec Baldwin was in a Cat in the Hat live action movie.
I never saw
was
that.
Poop out from a house. I don't know what that means.
You know?
Have you seen that movie?
So
you know what that means?
I never saw it.
I think I saw something about it. I didn't actually see the whole thing.
I don't get it. Bobcat said, what should make you scared is that PCC's reviews of most shows are better than the shows themselves.
That should be that should be scary because like literally it's like today, like I'm upstairs half asleep, traumatized from the episode the night before. Mary walks up depressed and we're like, let's record. Like if that's better, your bar is low, Hollywood. Your bar is very low. But at the same time, you have to be honest. It's like, and I was like looking for things in Velma that would be like okay. I'm like, oh, this joke kind of works. Mary's like, no, it doesn't. I'm like, oh, yes, like I'm trying to find stuff that like there was a couple of times in which they poked fun at stuff that could be considered the other side of the aisle, but then they immediately go back to the same thing. White guys are bad, cops are bad, men are bad, everyone's bad. Yeah. They're cowards.
Nathan
One more,
Koss,
and then we'll move on.
Okay, Nathan Koss said the part of the episode that was supposed to scare you was the authoritarian overreach during times of crisis, but that's the part journalists identify with.
They love
I
it.
know.
They
all
love
about
it. It's
all
the part
about
they
it.
love.
Yeah.
It's the part they love more than anything. All right, guys, we are moving on. So yesterday, we talked about the return of Bob Iger bringing about the return of Disney in China at the box office. So Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever, or as somebody in the comments called it, Wakanda Forever. Is Hollywood so woke? Also to be followed up by Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. See, I said the actual name that time. I didn't just call it Ant-Man. That is getting a release in China. Well, now, because of these releases in China, Disney is going to educate their actors on how to not offend the Chinese people. What they mean is the government.
This is a bit of a stretch, though. I went and looked at the report that this is sourcing from The Hollywood Reporter, and here's what it said. China just agreed to give valuable release dates for Marvel movies generally. Not only are we extremely unlikely to see any Chinese villains in Marvel movies, but presumably the talent in these movies will be well schooled to watch their words. Yep. And that's more so referring to doing press for the movies than what is scripted in the movies themselves.
It won't actually matter in the scripts.
What Chinese villains were off the table for Marvel films?
Look, they wouldn't be doing it anyways. But the point is,
are they in comics to begin with?
Yeah, but
are there Chinese villains?
I think the idea here is also that they're not going to hire Chinese actors in villain roles. But look, this is no different. Do you guys remember when John Cena accidentally made the grievous error of calling Taiwan a country?
Yes. Spoke Chinese.
What's weirder is
he apologized in Mandarin.
Yeah, it was a dark day.
When he went on Weibo to apologize in Mandarin, he didn't even mention what he did in his apology.
Right.
He was just like, I made a mistake and I'm very sorry, very sorry, very sorry.
Yep.
As I looked at the translation, he never explained what happened.
He didn't.
Because he was told to do it by the government, which is who was then told
Are you sure that the producers of Fast and Furious 9 were not the ones that told him to do this?
Look, the Fast and the Furious does gangbusters in China, so there's no way that it wasn't. They got a note from the Chinese Communist Party. Because remember, the Chinese Communist Party controls every release that comes out there. I still don't understand why they care, considering that you only get 25% at most of the box office return of anything that comes out of China, because the government keeps 75% of it. So they're like, look, we need this box office. You're going to have to go and apologize. It's also funny because he learned Mandarin years before because he would do WWE promotion in China.
What was so weird is the other day, this story, I remember this breaking on Twitter. So I forget what the actual tag was, but it was trending. And when people were celebrating it, oh my God, yay. Marvel's finally back in China. I'm like, why do you care? Well, this
is that a win
news.
for China?
I
is
guess
that a win for Disney?
Good for Disney and their marketing team.
All the millionaires the millionaires get to make more money.
I know.
Why are these people
more products for me to consume?
Why are these people so hopelessly tied to rich people that don't know or care that they exist?
They have nothing else.
I don't know.
It's one thing. I guess you could say we're tied to them because we criticize them, but at least we're criticizing them. It's it's being a pick-me girl. I'm a pick-me consumer.
Being a pick-me for Marvel and Disney properties.
I mean, it makes sense if you think about people that stand out in line. There's literally a line out in Hollywood when I was living there a while ago. There's a line outside of the Funko Pops place to go buy Funko Pops, and I think it's
all the time.
Crazy all the time because there'll be new ones dropping all the time. There is a line.
I didn't know there was
it's
a
right above where I live there.
As a society.
Crazy. Yeah, and it's not just a couple people. It's not 10 people. It's 100 people. For random Funko Pops. Mind you,
toys.
They're just little toys that all they do is have a swivel head.
Well, they don't
you don't even use the swivel head. You keep it in the box and never touch it.
Right, exactly.
It's really
because it's an action figure.
Right, yeah.
Not a toy.
There's a great
unreal.
There's a great skit that could be made where it's the whole line is actually all just YouTubers who are there to get set stuff for behind them on their cameras. They're like, I need the newest.
You could just get a green screen of a bunch of Funko Pops stacked up. You don't actually need to get a Funko Pop.
No,
collection.
you need 84 of them, Mary. That's how many you need.
You would need more than that to make a whole wall.
They're cool though, I will say, because it's a insane investment. I
It
mean, that's
is.
so because of what, $15 each, $20 each,
if not more.
and they're
I think
tiny.
some people are there for the resale for sure.
But then
Suppose
again,
we can't-
any wall of objects where you just have a ton of them is
Yeah.
cool. You know,
Are
it
they
could be
just the
coffee
new
mugs.
Beanie
It could be.
Babies?
That was gonna say, it's like,
Yes,
can we
kind
really
of.
complain? Because like Beanie Babies were part of my
They're
childhood.
I mean, dude, it's football cards for video game nerds. Like that's what it is.
You mean baseball cards? Who the hell collects football
I
cards?
did. Get out of here.
What a weird-
Okay,
I did.
wow.
I've got Matt Ryan's rookie card. Thank you very much.
Earlier today, I was looking into what themes China bans movies for including. And Wesley kind of elaborated on this the other day as well. He said that one theme they really don't like is anything that brings back the dead,
Yep.
like seances, any
That's not good.
communication with the dead,
That's not good in China.
any idea of a Christian hell.
Religion, yeah.
No religious you
Or
can't have any religious
afterlife
things.
in general.
Yep.
Communicating with anyone in the afterlife. They don't like excessive blood or gore because it has to be appropriate for all ages, which is kind of bizarre, right?
Mary's like, I'm liking this. She's like, let's go to China,
mean,
right?
Right.
Let's go.
I don't agree necessarily with the gore thing or the afterlife thing. That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I definitely agree with certain aspects of like their decency laws. Like, I don't think there should be overt sexuality in movies. I don't think that there should be excessive levels of like nudity. I don't think there should be like gay romances in movies. Honestly, like that's my position. As a Christian, those are my values. I don't think that should be reflected on screen.
I'm here for all the sexuality, all the nudity, and all. No, I like
Everything to the
and-
max.
and everything to the max. Look, like
Because like opposing the CCP doesn't mean
Oh my
thank
God.
you.
that's what it's supposed to sound like.
By the way, PCC is just CCP backwards. So
Coincidence?
we're actually Chinese agents.
I mean, you've never seen me and Xi Jinping
No,
in the
but
same place, have you?
Obviously, I am not
Very true.
defending the
That's a good
Chinese
point.
Communist Party or censorship from a state. But what I'm saying is, like, on principle, having standards for obscenity and decency are not a problem in my book.
It's not like we didn't have them in this country before.
We still have them.
We do still have them,
You can't
it's very
say whatever
true.
you want on the radio or on
No.
live TV.
No.
You can't show whatever you want. Like that's
You can't even
we
on
still-
YouTube.
We
You can't
still
even on
have
YouTube.
some levels of censorship.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a thing in every country.
I totally understand what you're saying. I get it. I think they have very, very different reasons for why they want these things
Definitely,
in place.
yeah.
for
Yeah, but
sure.
here's the funny thing: the journalists from our previous topic would love it because they could get locked in their apartment with the rest of the population during
Right,
COVID.
welded into
And maybe
their
maybe
apartment.
the idea is that they could be welded into their apartment while watching Marvel movies.
If you're welded into your apartment, how do you get your DoorDash?
Oh,
Comes in a
huge.
tube.
What?
yeah,
That's a big problem.
Yeah,
No,
one
it
of those
comes
one of
via
those
drone.
Amazon drones
Yeah,
flies
the drone
your
will fly
flies your DoorDash. Like they really do think that that's the way the world works.
Yeah, they're all about it. They love the safety and
And-
control of the box, guys. Don't want to leave the box. Just we're okay.
Like, in the slightest defense
So
of
ridiculous.
those insane people, they'll be like, no, I know, guys, the food comes from the factory. It's like, but dude, you have no idea the ins and outs. You have no idea that it took 5 or 6 different suppliers to make that one box
From
of cereal.
flyover
China-
states that you
Yeah.
hate.
Yeah,
China,
right.
China
You have
is
no
also
idea.
China also outlaws themes of government rebellion. You're not
Yeah,
allowed to
definitely.
do anything, and so
I saw
they
this-
do not do it for decency. They do it to control the populace.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
You
I
don't-
mean,
nobody. Xi Jinping is not a decent. He's not here for the decency of it.
Okay.
He's here to keep his population in line.
totally. But like when it comes to gay romance, they banned
Yeah.
Strange World in China because it was a gay romance in there. Is that controlling the populace?
What? That's weird
Kind of,
too.
yes, because
Yes,
they
it
don't
is.
want people to.
Because I think including it is also controlling the populace in the U.S.
China
Of
has a-
course, but it's a different thing. China is struggling with what I think is an idiotic policy of the one-child policy, which they
Yes.
kept for a long time, and they're trying to encourage, a lot like Japan, trying to encourage their populace to breed, basically. And they think that
Yes.
if you were to allow homosexuality, it then obviously it impedes population growth.
Which would have never
Which is the opposite of the
happened in
United
the
States.
first place
But
if
are
they
they-
hadn't enforced
Right.
the one-child policy.
But they're
So
not even-
I'm not endorsing like what they're doing
But I
in
understand,
their policies.
I understand what
but-
you're saying. It does have the knock-on effect of making more decent content, and et cetera. And you can clearly see that in Douyin, which is the TikTok of China. You can see that
Right.
they're enforcing that, like, the content on Douyin is all like, positive. It's all nationalist. It's all about people growing things and cooking food, science,
STEM.
thinking about wondrous things like space travel, etc., which we used to have in this country.
And here
as well.
it's all about TikTok dances, thoughts
now
on the
it's
internet.
all dances.
We've had
That's
this
why
discussion
I'm saying,
before.
like, corporations can try to control the populace just as much, if not more, than authoritarian states do. So
True.
that's
Very
the
true.
basic thing I'm
But
pointing out.
a corporation, it's the same thing. If a corporation is the one that's in control, they are the authoritarian state.
It's cooler if they just started basing like banning movies because they're bad. They're just like, your movie just freaking sucks.
You did not rate above 30% on Rotten Tomatoes.
like
censored.
Jail.
No.
Straight to
Why
jail.
did they
All
ban
your
Top
jail.
Gun?
Oh, because it's pro-America.
It's
and because they put the Taiwanese flag back on the jacket.
Yeah.
See, you won't have to change much about Marvel movies because they
No.
already hate America.
Now here's the funnier thing. There's just some subversive dude at Marvel in their CGI department who starts like editing in little Epoch Times like stuff into the movie. Like
They've been doing that.
But I'm saying, but now they start like now, yeah, but then. At that point, they weren't getting Chinese releases. Now he starts doing it in a way without permission from the line director, and he's like just sneaking it in there. Like Doctor Strange is on his phone, and there's like a little tab in the background for the Epoch Times, just his little
It's
fu.
the tiniest little dog
I love it.
whistle.
I see. Those are the movies I want to see made. I want to see a movie about the little rebellious dude at the production company working for the man, but he's got to keep his individuality and his beliefs in some way. So he inserts little messages into these movies.
We have that
they
movie.
gotta
It's
hire you
called
in Hollywood for
it's
this.
called Edward Snowden.
Yeah.
That's happened.
The Joseph Gordon-Levitt one.
That actually was a good movie, but I've heard it wasn't accurate.
He doesn't really. I mean, he kind of looks like Snowden, I guess, a little bit.
No, it's not.
In the sense that he's like
He looks enough like Snowden, but
But not accurate.
You mean the
to
actual,
story.
the content.
yeah, they made it seem a lot more spy thriller
Yeah.
than it actually was.
Was that the one with who made that one? Was that? I don't
No
remember,
idea.
I don't remember who made. Chat, who made the Snowden one with Joseph Gordon-Levitt? They might know. It was definitely more spy thriller.
Miramax.
Yeah.
Oh, I should watch that
kidding.
Harvey
again. That was a
Weinstein
good
made
movie.
it.
Just
That is a
kidding.
damn shame. How is he still over there as a political prisoner?
Yeah. Free
so
Snowden, by the way.
upsetting, man.
Free Snowden, free Cobra.
Look, it's.
You know why they're welcoming Wakanda Forever? Wakanda Forever hates America.
Yeah, definitely.
That movie was all about American corruption. So it's not necessarily state corruption as a theme that's banned in China.
Yeah.
You're allowed to show corruption as long as it's in
No,
the West.
rebellion is not allowed on screen. You
Corruption
can't
is
show-
also a sensitive theme,
Yeah.
though, that they ban.
So the other thing here is like, look, they mentioned in the article no Chinese villains, which brings us back to Camille Nanjiani's topic about I want to play more bad guys.
right.
Well, better hope India doesn't get a bigger market share because they
Right.
might not like the idea of you playing a villain, even if you want to play a villain.
Correct.
That's the problem when
But
you
they
start
need to do-
exporting these views outwards and pretending like your stupid Marvel role
Yeah.
means something important for society. Which
Well,
it
it's
does
just
not.
people fell in love with Joaquin Phoenix's The Joker. It's because villains they're cool. People like to see that dark
more
side of the
cachet
story.
these
I'm
days.
over it.
Yeah, so
I just want goody two shoes. I want the dude to get up.
Well, it's what sells, Brett. It's what makes the most money.
I do not sound like that. Okay, look,
That's just my snarky
I'm
voice.
done
It's
with
not
this.
what you
I'm
sound
done
like.
with this show today.
Hey.
That's not what I sound like when I like criticize
Anyway,
Hannah Clay.
I think that this is just like the classic example of Western wokeness butting heads with the goal of globalism.
It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out, to see all the people like, what's more woke, liking China releasing Marvel movies or not liking China releasing Marvel movies? 'Cause
Like, I wasn't cool with globalism or wokeness, but you guys can battle
Yeah.
it out and I'll laugh at you.
when did the term woke change definitions? Because 10 years ago, it meant just like, are you aware of the nonsense? Are you aware
It
of
was
the
Oliver
BS? Like,
Stone.
be on your guard because people are lurking. When did it become like this new term? You know,
It became
When-
about
Like, when
like
did that shift
systemic
happen?
racism in like 2014.
It was when Tumblr egressed to Twitter,
And 'cause
whenever
they-
that
'cause
was.
they banned
because they
porn.
banned hardcore pornography on the platform.
Wasn't
and then
that
they
in
were
like
like,
2019?
which I've heard.
that was,
was
more
later, but
recent.
like
I thought.
didn't Tumblr sell for like $3 million or something? It sold for like some tiny amount.
a
of
really
money.
minuscule amount. I used to use Tumblr to look at photos of bicycles.
I didn't know you were a
and
Tumblr
artwork.
girl.
I'm not a Tumblr girl, okay? Guys, jeez. No, but I did used to use Tumblr because you could find cool content, music, art, etc. And then I just stopped because it got unreal and unbearable because every post about everything was like, part of this wokosphere thing.
Yeah.
It's
pretty chill now.
I've heard they're going back.
Now it's a lot
there
better. Now it's surprising how that happened. Like everyone egressed to Twitter and then now they're leaving Twitter. I don't know where the hell.
No, they're going back to
going.
Tumblr. I heard they're going
Really?
back to Tumblr now because of Twitter.
I'm on Twitter and Tumblr, and I have not seen the insanity come back to Tumblr. It's mostly just
Take
pictures.
time.
Yeah, it's good. That's why I
Someone
like
said they
Tumblr in the
blame
first
Childish
place.
Gambino for probably that song Redbone.
Yeah.
Where it's
Yeah.
stay woke, but I don't
Now
think
I have that song looping in my head.
I don't
Thank
think
you.
that's what he means though. Like I think he means
also
just
did
be on
the-
your guard.
He also
Sure.
did This Is America.
I don't think he
too.
means like,
I hate
hey,
that song.
Yeah, me too.
let's push critical race theory
Ugh.
and drags time story hour on 5-year-old, 6-year-old children.
This
I don't
Is
think that's what he
America was the
means by
worst.
woke.
It's
Yeah.
it's objectively from a musical standpoint, it's not that good.
Yeah.
So yeah,
just
it's
not
a
that
bad
good.
song. I mean,
He's
cool
just not
message,
good.
but you could have also wrote a poem, dude.
He's like Kendrick Lamar, where they just think that they're like the pinnacle of
The
political commentary
Right.
and
It's like
rap
the culture
when
itself.
it's been done.
I would
Yeah,
take J.
for real.
Cole over
Yeah.
both of them anyways.
Yeah.
Oh, did you hear what J. Cole just did? I was
Yeah,
telling
it was-
Serge about
it was
this last
tight.
night. So you know what a type beat is, Brett? So a type beat is like you can enter any artist's name on YouTube and then right after that type beat.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because it's like
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
like,
it's a Mary type
DJ
beat.
Khaled type beat. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah.
so this guy, so J. Cole goes on. He's like, I don't feel like producing. I just want to just have a beat already and just rap too, right? So he types in J. Cole type beat on YouTube, finds a video, makes a
So
whole
dope.
song, and instead of releasing it, he gave it to the guy that made the beat on the
Amazing.
YouTube video. He's like, here,
That's
you can just
funny.
have my song, do what you want with it.
That's
Applause.
amazing.
Applause
Yeah,
to J.
it is
Cole. That's
awesome.
beautiful.
I was like, no way, what an awesome dude.
I would take J. Cole over Kendrick Lamar.
That's tough. It's a tough battle.
Personally,
It's a toss-up.
Personally,
It's tough.
I would take J.
understand.
Cole as well, but it's tough.
It's a toss-up.
There is some Childish Gambino that I like, but
Yeah,
not
yeah,
as much.
not nearly
Not
the-
nearly as
You
much.
watch Atlanta?
No.
Oh, it's
no,
good, dude.
No, I know a lot of people like it. It's
good.
Like I don't like that. That's just not my genre. Even if
Yeah,
if
yeah.
it was,
It's
not-
like
it's not-
4 different genres.
Yeah.
Depends on the episode.
Mm.
Honestly does.
All right. They're saying type beat. Yeah, type beat. Basically, it's funny too because like I've seen ones where it ends up in the metadata where it's like if you look at the song and then you go look downwards and it's like so and so type beat and it's after the list. Like it doesn't have an artist listed. It
Right.
just lists the name of the song.
Right. Yeah.
As type
A lot of people will even put like there's a lot of YouTube videos where that says like it's a particular artist's track and the artist is not featured on the song
Yeah.
whatsoever, and they'll just put type beat in it too because it will do better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Music is wild these days.
All right. Let's go
Let's stop
super
for
chats.
super chats. Yes,
Super
said
chats.
Mary-based Surge African. Whoa. Brett movie. Kellen, hi, Kel.
Wait, so who's African?
This was a lot.
I am South
I mean,
African. Yes.
Surge is African.
Yes,
so.
I am.
Yeah, instead of South African, you're Serge African.
Surge African.
I don't know why they said
my
Brett movie, but okay.
That's me, I guess. I'll take
Brett
it.
movie. Yeah.
Corn Pop sent us an ominous hippo.
Ooh, hippos are scary.
A game over hippo.
Yeah,
Hippos are
Ertez 00 said we graduated to waiting outside for GPUs and CPUs.
Fair enough. Different generational.
Yes and
thing.
no though, because like each store gets like 5 of them, and then they're sold out for 10 months.
Yeah.
You know.
True.
Korik Gaming said the 90s were better. Standing outside a GameStop for a release I pre-ordered was the best.
There you go. Look,
You,
I
like,
love
met
the
people
90s.
that then. You know what I mean? You could like meet people.
It's
and the
a
same thing
better
with
way
record
to
stores, too.
engage in your hobbies for sure.
For real, because it builds community. It's same with record stores. That's why I like a proponent of records, is because when you have a release and you really want it, you go outside and you meet someone else that really wants it, and you meet someone that's into the same music. Like plenty of musical acts started out like that because they both went to the release at the record store at the same time, met each other, and were like, "Wow, you like this too? Hey, so do I. Let's do music. Let's do something together," which you just don't have happen anymore. You can't.
I remember when I was younger, we were poor, so we couldn't afford to like get me a Nintendo, like a Sega. At least not till the next year. But like you could rent them from
that's cool.
like the video store.
Oh, no way.
And you would meet a ton of people at this video store. I always wonder what happened to that guy. Like the guy who owned that store, you could just tell like that dude lived it. Like his house looked exactly like that video store. He didn't go home to like some like clean cut like middle class house. It was like the idea of like the wood paneled rec room basement. Like his whole house was like that. He probably decorated the whole house to look like that. Incredible. Dude was awesome.
That's really cool, actually.
Caper2X said, what really frightened me about COVID was at the beginning, it has the earmark of a CCP biological attack. I'm retired RN and former Army nurse.
Oh.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if it was just because when early on when people started talking about it, there was just a lot of like really reasonable takes from people that I heard on YouTube. That just, and then the evidence kind of bore that out over time.
Do you remember how fast they built those 2 hospitals, though?
Yeah.
I've never seen a building get built so fast was when...
With so little attention paid to detail and also extraordinarily loose restrictions on building materials, etc.
I'm not saying they knew something, but they knew enough that they built those hospitals fast.
Are we surprised? Are we really surprised that China was able to build buildings?
Are we surprised we weren't? I mean, I don't know why people are so shocked that humans were tinkering, trying to play God. Like we've always done throughout humanity.
Talking about the earlier we mentioned the episodes of TV shows that involve like actors and like people dying on set. There's twice as many episodes about like biological attacks and and scientists researching stuff like that. The idea of amplification and things like that. That's a big themes in a lot of television.
Tacti Plati said, idea to make more money. Hannah, Claire, and Mary watch movies once a month, recording their reaction and make it members only, like Brett Cooper watches movies.
Could bring in...
Wouldn't that be copyright infringement?
I don't think so.
No,
You're
maybe
just
not.
a React channel at that point. You're not really doing anything that would be copyrightable. I don't think she'd be able to...
Especially if it's on the members only channel. You're not worried about getting demonetized.
Right. We could do pretty easily is Cass Castle are doing like director's commentary for their episode. So you guys could, if you guys want to, tune in on that. That'd be something for people to watch.
Maybe we can do Brett harshly judges Cass Castle, where I just watch it and say mean things about it.
I like it.
You're not mean.
I don't have it in me to do that, actually.
No.
It would be nice.
Creative Juice said, Alpha Kenny... I don't want to say that one.
Okay.
If I send super chats, they're going to be along these lines. Hashtag I'm 12. Oh, okay. Well, then I'm not going to read yours from now on, Creative Juice. Sorry. Clint said, howdy people, sorry I'm late. About the Alec shooting, if memory serves me well, wasn't the armorer not allowed on set due to COVID restrictions? Also, weren't they doing a rehearsal and not a final shoot?
It wasn't a final shoot. They were in rehearsals at that point.
So they're going to say there's no video evidence of it?
It wasn't during filming. It was like in the middle of...
That's what I thought. I was going to say, we're going to get the footage,
I thought that they claimed it was like, he was joking around with the crew when waving around the gun and he didn't think it would go off or something like that.
He just thought that the guns just don't go off if you pull the trigger. It's just nothing happens.
Yeah, I just don't believe that. I have extreme difficulty believing that. How would he not know? Like, he would.
Plus, we just don't like him, so screw him.
Yeah, I don't like him either. But I mean, he's
guilty until proven innocent. If it's Alec Baldwin.
Here at Pop Culture Crisis, you're guilty until proven innocent.
If you're Alec Baldwin.
If you're Alec Baldwin.
Bobcat said, easy way to identify the Fed. How do you pronounce Appalachia?
Appalachia.
Well, I already said it, so it's going to inform your answer.
Yeah, now I don't know what to say.
Now Kellen has no right answer.
I would have said Appalachia.
Fed.
Is that a Fed answer?
Why is that a Fed answer?
I have no idea. It's a Fed answer.
I grew up here.
Oh, man.
That's suspicious. Fed.
It doesn't matter what you say, I found. Don't
RS
really call the Fed no matter
sounds like something a Fed would say.
Right.
RS Degurchev said, he sent us $5 without a message.
Thank you.
X sent us just a shrimp emoji.
Nice.
That is?
Caper2X said, guys, how many types of Feds are there?
One. The
Both
statist
are?
kind.
Here it's like we find out later that here they're all Feds. It's
I'm
kind
from
of like
the
that,
FDA.
Yeah, like Mary's from the FDA, Serge is from the CIA, and Kellen is the FBI.
Nice.
Oh, man.
I'll be.
man.
I'll be a Homeland Security agent. There you go. I'm DHS.
No, you're like a food inspector, health inspector.
Yeah. Ooh, that's better. Yeah, I could work. No, because didn't you say she's the FDA?
That's different.
It's Food and Drug Administration.
Different, right?
Okay,
Different.
If she's approving it so they can sell it, you're making sure it's
whoever
being cooked with like
we like the
properly.
least can be the ATF.
No, I'm the NSA. I'm the NSA.
Yeah.
Always
You
listening.
get to
do
be the FDA.
Always. What? No, I don't want to be the FDA. I want to like. There's gonna be
Fine.
I'll be the ultimate the worst one here. I'll be the IRS.
I'll be Space Force. I'll be
I will
Space
be the-
Force.
like-
That's why you talk about tax.
That's
fraud
why I
so
talk
much.
about tax heroes all the time because it's deny everything, make counter accusations.
You're-
Admit nothing, deny everything.
You're one of the 70,000.
Yeah, one of those 84,000 or whatever it was. Like,
80,
Oh, it's at
yeah,
84.
like so that was me. It's like, yeah, admit nothing, deny everything, make counter accusations. I'm like, oh, sounds like you're a tax hero over there. Look at this guy. He's not paying his taxes. What a good guy. I'm like writing his name down, like send that on to my superiors.
Brother
Making a
Cody
list.
sent us $1 without a message. Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, brother.
Charlie Red said Harry the Hat made the original Night Court what it is and ironic. If you haven't seen his stand-up and read about his history, it's worth the time.
I haven't watched that. They've re-released Night Court, like a new version of Night Court. I don't have any need to watch that. Also, I made a late night tweet where I was talking about how awesome Peacock is starting to prove above and beyond the best streaming service there is.
You think?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. Like for me right now, they added a show that I absolutely love called Republic of Doyle, starring Alan Hocko. It's this show that was made in St. John's, Newfoundland, in Canada, and it's so quirky. It's about he's just an absolute buffoon. He's a really smart dude, but he does a lot of physical comedy where every episode he gets punched by a woman.
Oh,
like
great.
it's
Sweet.
like the thing is like not always by a woman, but mostly by women because he's kind of a ladies' man, and he's always like being like thrown around and beaten up, and his dad's just like him and his dad are private investigators, and his dad's like, oh my god, when are you gonna grow up? It's freaking great. And it used to be on Amazon Prime, and they got rid of it, and I cried just a little bit inside, and I found it on there last night. I'm like, I have to watch Velma right now. Frick, I don't want to watch Velma. I want to watch this.
Have to. I like that.
Yes.
Have to. Yeah.
One
Corn
more, and
Pop?
then we'll move on.
Yeah, Corn Pop sent us a birthday cake.
Nice.
Thanks, Corn Pop.
Oh, so cool.
Corn Pop rules. Corn Pop, we really like you.
I don't know what
by the
that
way.
meant.
Corn Pop's rad.
Yeah.
I don't like Corn Pop.
Not
Why?
bad.
No.
No.
I like him.
All right.
Wait, what did he?
Creeps
He
me
doesn't
out.
even. There's nothing he could even say that you could take offense at. It's just eye emoji.
He creeps me out.
It's the big eyes.
Oh yeah. I
In the
understand.
chat.
I understand. I get it, but I just like Corn Pop. He's just a
Someone
funny
said
dude.
Mary pronounced Appalachia like an ATF agent.
Ha!
Did I do it wrong?
But she doesn't have she doesn't have the high fade.
Did you guys know the ATF is like in Martinsburg?
They are?
Did you guys know that?
No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that one of the main offices of the ATF is in Martinsburg.
There's also a, you know what else there
Ice-
is in
there's an
the
ice
general area?
facility,
Yeah.
outside.
There's border patrol out
yeah.
here, even though we're in the
Really?
middle of America.
It's those Canadians, man. Gotta keep them out, guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's actually the British.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Hmm.
All right. Guys. Also, I want to somebody sent me something yesterday where they said the picture of you.
Nice.
The one of the laptop was like the greatest thing they've ever seen of you laughing at the picture of yourself looking really sad. So
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
trying to
that's funny.
I'm trying to not leave it on you by accident. Say that happened because I accidentally like left the camera on Mary by accident.
I'm
and she
just
wasn't-
gonna smile the entire time so that never happens
Yes.
again. I'm gonna smile like a psychopath
Yep.
the entire time.
All right.
We're gonna talk about Adam Lambert now, and if you haven't heard that name
Long
in a while,
time.
I'm with you there.
My
It
favorite.
reminds me of when American Idol was still airing and we were a proper country. But those days are over, and now Adam Lambert has a big problem with straight actors playing gay characters.
What else is new?
Of course he does.
So there has been an idea floated around that there will be a George Michael biopic. Honestly, I'm tired of the biopics. We're very oversaturated on that front. We don't need a biopic for literally every celebrity that's ever lived.
Not only celebrity, but have you noticed that Bohemian Rhapsody, Rocket Man, and now this upcoming who's the
Whitney Houston had one too.
Whitney Houston
Oh,
just came out, yeah.
was
Jersey
There's
Whitney-
Amy
Boys.
Winehouse.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool. But I mean, I was gonna say, have you noticed that they're all gay guys?
Not
Elvis.
all.
They're not all, but I mean,
I mean, Elvis isn't gay.
The only biopic that
As
I
far as we
like
know.
is
As far as we
Walk
know.
Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
yeah, that was a great
It's
one.
the only
That was a
one that
great
I'll approve of.
Yeah,
Was
I agree
Weird
with that.
Al gay? I don't think he was gay.
Daniel Radcliffe
That we
might
know
be
of.
though.
I don't know if he
And,
was. I don't think he was.
They're not all gay.
No, they're not. But I just found
You
it
just
funny.
like only focus on the gay
Yeah,
ones.
only the three ones. But I just
it's-
found it funny.
Haven't
that
you
those were,
heard the rumor that like the whole rap industry, like basically all the successful rappers are all gay?
That's a conspiracy.
That's a conspiracy. We could
Yeah.
do that episode one day where we could talk about
I mean,
that.
Uzi Vert is already out as a they them.
Is
Yes,
he?
he is. He
So
They is
I
they.
think there's just something. There's something in the world that being a great entertainer or a successful entertainer, I should say, also equates to being gay.
Well, it equates
There's
to
something
being,
there.
It equates to being like kind of a social outcast, and that goes with not being, not fitting into gender roles. You know?
I just want to
Like,
say, Lil B was the first person to change gender roles within the rap game. Everyone else that's doing this, like
Base.
Young Thug was wearing like the dress later. Come on, Lil B was on ESPN in a dress and wearing like dangly earrings and a big open hat that should have belonged on The View. Like at least a year prior to that. I'm a Lil B fan, and I'm tired of this co-opting of the word based. Lil B was first. I just want to make sure I say
It
that.
is
on
really
the air.
funny how that
important.
word, like both sides use that word. Like
Base.
So
base. Oh yeah,
but it
everyone
was
uses that word.
appropriated first from Lil B
Correct.
by
base
the right
god.
wing, and then it was appropriated from the right wing.
Yes, by the left
basically.
now. Or
But
they're
anyway,
trying to. Anyways,
so
sorry
we've
for
seen,
derailing.
We've seen Rami Malek, who is straight, play Freddie Mercury in his biopic. And then Taron Egerton playing Elton John in his biopic.
Taron
So these
Egerton.
are straight men playing gay characters in biopics. These were real men. They're being represented by someone who doesn't belong to the same identity group. Big whoop, whatever. I didn't watch either of these biopics. I think they're incredibly irrelevant. But anyway, just at the idea that Theo James, a straight actor, would play George Michael, here's what Adam Lambert had to say. Yay, another straight man playing a gay icon. Eye roll emoji. Love the snark.
I love the snark.
But here's what I think. Let's just stop making biopics altogether.
Yeah.
True.
Like we don't have to
And that
worry
would
about
solve this problem entirely.
we don't have to worry about straight or gay or anything in between if you just don't make them.
You know why they're so popular though is the current celebrities, entertainers, they're doing it. Like they're doing biopics of themselves through social media and their iPhones.
See,
These stars of the
Right.
80s, 70s,
Yeah.
we didn't get that luxury. So
Madonna-
people expect it now.
Madonna's making her own. By the way, biopic might be more of a Fed term than Appalachia.
Okay.
Biopic.
You're shaming Kellen's.
I am.
Biopic?
I like biopic.
Did I say biopic?
You said biopic.
Oh.
I like it. I like it.
Okay.
Huh.
Whitney Houston one is coming out, but the other thing is like what? We're gonna get the Madonna one. She's gonna be on. part of
Madonna
this-
just nuked her whole social media, her Instagram.
Well, she's like been recently accused of like human trafficking in
God.
like
Seriously?
she's got a charity like an adoption charity in Africa, I think, that is
All
being
of her
accused
adopted
of-
children are black.
Yeah,
from
like
Africa.
and it was accused of like human trafficking.
That's weird.
Um,
But that doesn't mean she did it. That means
no,
the
it just means
agency
she's
was-
the agency. I don't know if that's anything true. I mean,
That's
her real
odd.
crime is her weird pictures of herself that she posted on social
But anyway,
media. all the time.
she is going to be directing her own biopic. She said because she doesn't want it to be her narrative to be controlled by a man.
Not at all.
But I don't know. Like I also think that if a straight actor plays a gay character and does gay stuff on camera for it, that's sussy. Like
It's their job.
It's an
I
actor.
definitely wouldn't date a
Why-
straight man who played a gay man
so,
on camera.
So is it sussy that Superman, there's an actor that plays Superman?
Yes.
That's a little sussy.
Sus.
I'm just saying it doesn't.
Can he
You're,
prove
he's
you're
not
playing
Kryptonian?
pretend.
That has nothing to do with sexuality.
Pretend
though.
is pretend, though. You're playing pretend. That's what acting is. I think it's unfair to say you're acting if you're doing certain things, but not if you're doing other things.
Yeah, I thought it was acting. I thought that was the whole point.
That's the whole point.
I thought that was the,
Yeah.
the
I mean,
whole
I get
thing.
that it's pretending, but also like, I don't think that it's like not sussy to pretend to be gay.
Wait, hold on. That's too many double negatives.
It's not sussy.
It's not sussy. It makes sense. Yeah.
I don't know. Like men these days
I don't think
just
there's a
like
difference.
have no virility or actual,
What if
attraction to women.
what if a-
Especially Hollywood men. Like Hollywood men are
Hey,
not into
hey,
women.
I was a Hollywood guy who was into women. I lived in Hollywood for years.
What I mean is like these actors. You
yeah,
know, like
okay.
these-
Actors. I'll go with actors. I'll put it at actors.
These
We'll be
dudes
cool
in
with that.
Hollywood, like, they're not straight. You know.
Yeah.
I think you're overgeneralizing a
Yeah,
little bit here.
I don't know.
Like I think plenty of them. The amount of assault cases against women from actors proves that they're definitely straight. Like
Like it's one thing if you're Harry Styles and you wear a dress to an interview that's unrelated to a movie you're doing, right? But if you're like if you have to wear a dress in a movie, You're playing a role.
Average Panda's 100%.
You know?
He says, if Luke Evans, a gay actor, can play Gaston, a straight actor can act as a gay character. And Luke Evans, we've talked about this. Luke Evans came out and said, he's like, I don't want to be restricted to just playing roles in which I'm gay.
Barney Stinson on How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying you can't.
it's a
I'm
good
not
example
saying
of
that
too.
doesn't work. Certainly, like a gay actor can play a straight character, a straight actor can play a gay character, and both can certainly like do those jobs. It is a job. However, when it's a gay character on screen, I always see that there is an agenda behind it. And that's what I'm tired of.
Yeah, there always is.
You know?
I feel like there always is.
There's always an agenda of kind of like humiliation behind having straight men perform these acts on camera. Like, just watch something like Mysterious Skin, like a movie like that, and tell me that isn't seen as degrading by the people who made that movie. You know?
Yeah.
But also, like, the idea is, like, maybe not all of them show anything, any type of scene like that. It might just be, like, they are romantically involved with someone else and they don't show actual sexual scenes.
The Office is a good example of that. Yeah. Oscar is one of the staple characters, and he's gay, and they do it. I think they do it amazingly. He's, like, his whole character's like, I'm not trying to broadcast this. Just let me do my work. I'm an accountant. And Michael, the boss, is constantly antagonizing
That would never happen today. When gay characters are on screen today, it's completely the opposite.
And it's part of their character. It's a huge part of their character, so it can't just be embedded in who they are. It has to be front and center. Which is why it's boring.
So if you're saying like, oh, it's just playing pretend, like it doesn't mean anything, it means a lot actually to the people who are writing these scripts, who are creating these stories.
Writing them, sure, but I'm saying, but a person playing the role, he just auditioned for a role. He's playing, you know.
Yeah,
I don't think it matters as much to the actor.
Plus,
role.
Yeah, well,
it's
here's the thing. He's looking at it. An actor's not looking at it in the vein of just who the person slept with. He's looking. This was an interesting human being. He had an interesting story to tell. He was more dynamic beyond just who he slept with. Therefore, I want to investigate and portray all aspects of who this person was. It just so happens that one of those aspects happens to be his sexuality. If you start limiting people from being able to take roles because only gay men should portray gay characters on screen, you limit a lot of actors from getting a lot of great roles, great performances out of characters that they never would have otherwise done.
Like,
it is the trope of how actors in Hollywood oftentimes very, very like annoyingly say, acting is a search for truth. Like, that's a dorky thing to say, but in a lot of ways, what they're searching for is to find the truth behind a character or an actor, right? Like, I'm not saying that it's not dorky to say something like that or think like you're above everyone else or special. It is dorky, but I get it. Like, they're not looking at it through the lens of sexuality. They're looking at it through the lens of a dynamic person, in this case, a real person, who they could portray accurately.
And perspective is knowledge. Yeah. So when we're not necessarily talking about method acting, but when you deep dive into a role, you're gonna gain perspective.
I don't think that
you're
these
gonna
things
learn
should be portrayed
something.
on screen. I just don't think they should be public, like shown to the public. It's indecent. It's obscene.
Yeah. I think there's a point where it's like where it becomes decent and obscene. I don't have a problem with gay people. Like, the thing is, though, it's true. Like, think about Modern Family, a very famous and well-known gay couple, and one of them is not gay, and it's like it's a great dynamic. Their couple dynamic on it is hilarious. It's funny. You know what I mean? I watch a show and I'm like, that is a funny joke. It was a good. It's not. It doesn't. You don't have to like. Someone in the chat said it doesn't have to be like, you know, if there's no. Like indecent things, if there's no like actual like lip to lip content or contact on the actual show, I mean, I'm like okay with it. Like, okay, they're gay. Like, the gay people exist, you know. Like,
I think that like gay people have had a special place in entertainment, but at the same time, when they're portrayed on screen today, especially if it's in a biopic about somebody who has had a big impact on culture, like Freddie Mercury or you know, George Michael or Elton John or any of these people, or Prince, like David Bowie, name any of these people. It's always these are movies made by people who think that their sexuality means more than anything else they ever did.
Also, personally, I don't really care. I don't really care about seeing romantic scenes on screen anyways because
I don't
it
want
doesn't interest me. Like straight or gay, I just like most of the time.
I agree.
You can do a lot more with cutting to black.
Dude, Game of Thrones was that way for me.
Yeah, and if
too much.
If they do too much of it, it's over the top, and so much of it is done in a way that's designed to draw audiences in from people who actually want to watch stuff like that. But I find that more often than not, it takes away from the pacing of the story rather than adds to it. A good example. Here's a good example.
I can't watch my parents either. It makes me so uncomfortable.
I'll give you, well, there's like the rise of media you can't watch with family members. Here's two examples of both where showing it works and where not showing it works. In the show Suits, they show the first romantic encounter between, what's his name? Between Michael, I don't remember this. Ross? What's the character's name in Suits?
Ross.
It's Patrick J. Adams, but I forget. Michael. His name's Mike. Mike Ross. Okay, him and Meghan Markle's character. And they built up to that in the way it's cut with the music. It's done extremely well. It's basic cable, so it's not super over the top. But here's another example. The show Bones, which for 6 seasons, David Boreanaz and Emily Deschanel have this off and on chemistry. They never show it. They cut to the next day. They don't even cut to showing them in bed the next day. What they do is there's like a tragedy that happens amongst their group of people, and has to stay at his house because she's not safe. And basically she is sad and like gets into bed with him and just lays down with him. They never intimate that it goes farther than that, but the next day they cut to her talking to someone else at the office and they talk about how it happens. Some people felt extremely like as if they screwed them over by not showing anything. Yeah, but you don't
people
need
have
to.
this weird prying pornographic urge to see this stuff on screen when it like if you want to watch porn, go watch porn. Like why does it need to be inserted on like mainstream platforms?
Yeah, it doesn't.
They never doesn't. And then later on in that show, they would make them like an annoyingly romantic couple, and it actually ruined it. I remember they did like the worst crossover literally in cinema history, where they had Bones crossover with the show Sleepy Hollow, which is like one sci-fi and one isn't. Like you don't know whether you don't know whether they exist in the same universe at all anyways. And the writing is so bad that like I don't know if it's because they have like the Sleepy Hollow writers are writing for like characters that aren't normally theirs, but they're like overtly like lovey-dovey and touchy, and it makes no sense in the context of the story. But yeah, like you don't need to show it. You like I have no problem with the concept, but I just think that like to do it right is a lot harder than they actually think.
I think the difference
and it's very rarely earned properly.
The difference is you have no problem with the concept, but you have a problem with the execution. Yeah. I have a problem with both the concept and the execution.
Fair enough.
Yeah, totally.
Let's move on.
All right, let's go to Super Chats.
We've got Gina Carano to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to Gina Carano, guys. There's a rumor going on right now that they could recast Cara Dune for The Mandalorian. To which I say, nay.
I mean, that would be the ultimate spite against her, right?
Who would they? I remember them saying that. Who was the lady who played Xena Warrior Princess?
That's a blast from the past. I don't remember.
The lady who played Xena Warrior Princess said that
before your time.
The lady who played Xena Warrior Princess said that she would take the role, except for the fact that she's like way older.
Yeah,
and
she
like
is,
definitely couldn't do that. But who could they cast to play
Leslie Jones?
Leslie.
Knowing Disney, like
Lucy
they
Lawless,
would just find.
Thank you, chat.
They would find one of the wokest of the woke in comparison, just to be spiteful. That's
Meghan
what they
Markle.
would do.
Meghan Markle comes back to acting to play Cara Dune.
Right.
Cara Boo-hoo.
Comeback.
Wait, so why can we have Lizzo play this person?
Boom. Let's go.
Why not?
Lizzo's already
do you have any reason why we can't have Lizzo?
She's already
play this
booked for another
If we're
Star Wars
firing
role.
people for not having
really?
pronouns in their bio, can we hire people for having pronouns in their bio?
Let it go.
I don't know. I don't like this story is like cool if they do, cool if they don't.
No, not cool if they do.
Dude, I do. The Mandalorians is
kind of dead on
dead.
arrival. Like nobody's
dead in the
I remember
world.
like Yellow Flash the other day was like asked on Twitter. He's like, "Is anybody talking about this?" Like LOL. Like nobody cares. All of the.
That probably means Gina Carano feels very vindicated.
Well, I was just gonna say it's also awesome.
Amber Heard. Okay, yes, chat. I want everyone in the chat's opinion. Who do we get to play Cara Dune?
A lot
Elliot
of people
Page.
saying Elliot Page, Lucy
Oh,
Lawless,
based.
Lizzo.
Well, I'm trying to like if you really think about it, Gina Carano is like a unique figure in that she's a real life fighter, so she's got the credibility. She was
Jennifer Lawrence.
We have the world's first female action hero to do it. Like
Right.
she had the size. Like she actually looks like an action hero. Gina Carano does, right? She's built.
Well, and it's also awesome that they're gonna like, okay, we're just cutting her role completely, and now they're like, shoot, we can't replace you. Like, we're gonna try, but we're unable to replace you, and the show stinks now. Like, to me, the fact that they want to recast this role shows that they're desperate.
Yeah.
That they
Ronda
made a
Rousey.
mistake.
You could do Ronda Rousey. I mean, I don't know if Ronda Rousey's really all that good of an actor. She's a horror.
Ronda
she's
Rousey sucks.
She's horrible in WWE, except for she had a really great introduction to WWE that she was never able to like live up to. In which, in her first match, they basically had her like fake break Stephanie McMahon's arm, and it was so brilliantly executed in the way they did it because it wasn't a singles match that everyone thought she was gonna grow up, like that she was going to evolve into this great wrestler, and she just never did. Plus she's like ass on the microphone. She cannot talk.
You could
she's
do,
like she's worse at talking than me. That's impressive. Do you know how hard it is to be worse at talking than me? That's difficult.
You could do Michelle Rodriguez.
Too small. Too
What about Ian
tiny.
Crossland, guys? He's got the hair.
I
he's
know
got the look.
Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman.
I know Natalie Portman is super muscular and buff.
Ruby Rose. Ruby Rose is so skinny when she turns sideways, she's like a quarter. She disappears.
I saw
she's
someone
like
say
Amy Schumer?
No, Dylan Mulvaney. That would be great. Great actor. Great actor. Great chops.
Or John Fetterman's wife.
Ooh, that is even better.
Melissa McCarthy.
Okay,
She's got
we're
the-
getting
she's
there.
girthy. She's,
Okay, I'm with that.
We
I'm
should
with
just
that.
we should just write a script for like the worst Star Wars episode possible, just with everyone in the wrong
or
roles.
what they do is
Brie Larson.
they look.
Oh no,
Oprah,
no.
Oprah for Boba Fett, or it's not Bo. It's not either. It's just a Mandalorian, right?
Here's the funny thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just Mandalorian. It's,
Mandalorian,
it's not the same thing as
Not the
as
same
Book of
family.
Book of Boba Fett was totally different and didn't even really wear the mask. There was picture like Brie Larson has been posting pictures again recently, and she posted like a bunch of pictures with like fake tattoos on, like henna tattoos, and like kind of thoughty like clothes, and I'm like she's like embracing the patriarchy a little bit. She's like
Wow.
like kind of ethoughty.
Okay, girl.
But look, like
Okay, Gina.
like she just shows up in the Mandalorian. She's like, I don't really care about the rebellion. It wasn't made for you. Like, and she repeats her lines,
Nice.
like her famous quotes from that. And she's like, I'm here to fight the patriarchy. Rosie O'Donnell is a good pick.
Oprah Fett.
I'm trying to think of somebody big enough.
Kathy Bates.
Kathy Bates. Where's that from? How do I
I
recognize her name?
look all
All
of this proves is that they're not really.
Misery.
Yeah, okay.
I'm trying to think of like women who have more screen presence. You know what I mean? Like the lady from Longmire, who's also in Star Wars. I can't remember her name, but she's also the lady who was from Terminator 3. Christina Loken. She's kind of tall. She's kind of muscular. Like they got to find somebody who actually looks like they could fit the role. Most of the time, they just pick tiny women that don't look like they actually could fit the role. Gina Carano looked like she could fit the role. Queen Latifah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Michelle Obama. Hey, that's a good idea.
Ooh, that'd be a
Thank
cool
you.
crossover. Whoa.
That's scary, dude.
Someone said Zendaya. I think Zendaya has some better things to do. Ezra Miller.
Oh my God, Ezra Miller could play like. Who could he be in Star Wars?
Ezra Miller, dude.
What if he was a Jedi? He could be Anakin.
People love Ellen Page.
Someone said Tess Holiday.
Yeah,
No.
that's great. That'd be great.
Evangeline Lilly.
Evangeline Lilly might be able to do it.
I'm willing to concede. I think Helen's right.
Katie Sackhoff. That's who I was thinking of. Thank you, Tacty Platty. Katie Sackhoff. She's tall. She's muscular. She's like she's also like kind of low key based, if I remember correctly. Like they start like corrupt Star Wars journalists, Disney journalists are like, aren't the fans awful? And she's kind of like, no, not really. Like I don't know. Like.
I don't really care.
Like doesn't really take the bait the same way. She was also Henry Cavill in a wig.
Yeah, I
they
saw that
dated, so that's perfect. He can channel Gina.
Right.
Yeah.
Now
They
that he has
dated.
some free time.
Poor Henry. Poor Henry. I don't know. There's a lot of options, but I just don't think that you're going to find someone with that screen presence. The Katie Sackhoff option, the Christina Loken option are both good, but Loken might be too old.
Have either of you seen Terror on the Prairie?
No, I've heard about it, but I've not seen it.
How much money did it make, Mary?
So some people claimed that Terror on the Prairie made $804 at the box office.
Wow.
And I just saw a new claim that it won $13,000 and $13,115 specifically at the box office. And this is a fact that they used to dunk on Terror on the Prairie and the Daily Wire.
Yeah.
Because they think that it went exclusively to theaters. Because they're idiots.
Because they're idiots. And they're
like I was saying before the show, this is literally like if they said that the Gray Man made $800 at the box office when it went straight to streaming. Any streaming release obviously isn't going to make money at the box office, you idiots.
Also,
they're such fraudulent pieces of beep.
They released.
I want to go off.
Because
they lie. They lie. Like, it's literally a lie.
Yeah.
Like, the Terror on the Prairie did not go to theaters, you dumbass.
And I remember,
it might have at all though.
It was at private screenings.
Yeah.
That's why they have those numbers in the first place.
Glass Onion went to theaters and it made some money, and they're like, it made really good money for a movie that was only out for a week. So it's their bias showing.
It's
that
selective when they actually give context.
Yep.
And then they use this to dunk on Gina Carano. Like we covered this the other week where this journalist brought up the fake number, and then Gina Carano was like, "My career isn't a flop, and you're a flop." And then he just blocks her.
Nice.
Like, they can't handle the truth.
They also can't handle the fact that she just won't bend the knee. It's also really funny how they have like the actual strong independent woman right in their face, and they get mad at her because she's a strong independent woman.
I mean, weirdly enough, Daily Wire is making thrilling movies with female leads.
Multiple ones. It's also really funny too, because when you really think about it, it's like, okay, yeah, but they've got 1 million subscribers at like however much a month.
And so I'm sure if you're subscribed, you've watched the film, right? So
I mean, we can assume those
what's
subscribers. Let's just assume that everyone, all 1 million, is paying for the lowest tier. I think that's $8 a month.
Yeah.
It's $8 million a month, and then that lowest tier includes a bunch, like the most ads. So and then all that ad revenue. So
Unreal.
pretty good.
It's just they're
I haven't seen Terror on the Prairie, but if any of you in the chat have, do you think that
Did you
we
see
should watch it?
Did you see the trailer for Run, Hide, Fight?
I think so. Yeah.
It's kind of unsettling. I don't know how I feel about it.
Wait, is that the one that focuses on the school shooting?
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's Shut In.
I haven't seen that one.
I saw the trailer. For
I don't.
Shut
Yeah,
In.
I don't know how. With the just like
the movies will get better.
No, I'm not worried about that. It's
just the subject matter.
Subject matter is interesting.
Disturbing.
Westerns aren't big. They haven't been big in a while.
Yes,
and then
they're huge right now. Westerns are coming back in cinema.
Well,
like
look at Yellowstone and stuff like that.
Yellowstone, like the idea, the 1883 is a
1920
legit. 1883 is a legit Western.
1923 is
there's far more than that I can't think off the top of my head. It's becoming a thing again. It's funny because that was like Hannah Claire would talk about how she wanted Westerns to come back, and they absolutely are right now in Hollywood.
Yeah, they are.
There's more than that. I can't remember them all.
Well, they tried to say Nope from not Jordan Peterson.
Jordan
Peele. They said that's supposed to be a Western.
Loosely.
Kind of seemed like it.
Loosely.
A little bit. More sci-fi than anything. Though.
Right.
Well, even like it's not a Western, but like I love Longmire. That's one of my favorite shows of all time, and it's about an old school sheriff in Wyoming. So
right, Longmire.
It's not a Western, but it's
Western adjacent.
Yes, it is. It's good. Yeah. So
yeah,
it's weird. It's like you know what's funny about the whole like return to the Western thing is it's like it's almost like they are summering in Wyoming and Montana and Idaho, and they're suddenly into this whole like fetishization of like being a cowboy and working on the range and stuff. But like, you know, Chef Gruel, who's on our podcast, posted a video a while ago of someone going out and like feeding their cows in the cold in like, you know, it's like negative 20 degrees. Like you have to go and do it because you have to keep the animals alive. It's like they only want the pretty part of it. They only want to take the gun and shoot the cinematographer. They only want the like the stuff that they enjoy about the Western thing, guys. It's all token. It's all fetishization of what living in the West it really is. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know what hill I'm trying to die on here, but
no, whatever it is, I agree with you.
Yeah, they're mentioning good ones in here. There Will Be Blood.
Yeah,
someone said Nope was terrible. Did you guys see Nope?
Yeah, I
didn't watch it.
No. I enjoyed it.
I've never had a chance.
I never saw it because Keke Palmer is annoying. Sorry.
She is kind of.
I think she did well in the movie though.
Okay. What is Nope about? Isn't it just like an
like UFO on a ranch?
Yeah. Isn't that like Signs?
Deadwood fans.
Signs was good.
Signs reboot.
Yeah.
Tombstone, Deadwood.
Yeah, Deadwood. Yeah, there's a lot of those.
I heard the movie was. I didn't see the movie. I heard the movie was bad.
True.
They made it like what did you expect when you make a movie like 20 years later after 10 years later after
the original Tombstone was like 1990s, right?
The movie Tombstone?
Yeah.
mid 90s.
Okay. We've got a lot of super chats to get through here. 1,000 Foot Deep End said making up for missing Surge's first PCC appearance.
Second.
Welcome to the show, Surge. Also liking the new aesthetic super chat screen layout.
All right, well,
it's sweet. It's sweet. I like it a lot.
Good guys, because like it's now a little bit harder. We've kind of what it is, guys, is we've actually like super glued everyone into their seats so that they stay in frame. They're not like, little do you know, they're actually like we've taped them down. They're not allowed to move.
Talk about a hostage party.
Talk about a hostage party. When it's all said and done, we might let them go because they have to do IRL later, but it depends on how we're feeling.
High Voltage 75 said, "What's the longest you've ever stayed awake? My record is 44 hours."
Oh my god!
Wow, yeah, I'm near that.
Mine is a lot longer than that, but
what is it?
There were drugs involved, so we're not going to go there. It's not on.
Do you know how many hours?
I mean, if we're talking not on drugs, 72 hours.
Oh my
god! I'm like 60 something.
Yeah, not good. Don't do drugs.
Dude, I've maybe done 36 hours once.
I mean, I'm a naturally hyperactive, and
if I don't get my sleep, I feel like ill. Like if I don't get enough sleep, I feel like death.
I don't know what my record is, but it's definitely under 48, and I agree with you, Kellen. I could sleep all day.
Yeah.
All day.
I do sleep all day. It's one of my favorite things to do.
The Last of My Kind said, Gears movie, make a prequel, call it Emergence Day.
Heck yeah.
Emergence Day. That would be cool.
I love that.
Super Dank said they need China's money to stay in business. Without China money, they wouldn't make enough profit, at least to their standards of profit.
True.
Not necessarily. It seems like until now, Marvel has been happy to not sell their movies to China, and when they do, they don't keep a lot of the money anyways.
So the message is more important to them.
Maybe this is like a long game though. Maybe Disney's thinking, like you said,
world domination.
Essentially. Maybe they think they can just give them an inch into China and they'll take the whole continent. Like maybe that's what they're thinking.
Also, in the chat, I want to point out that people keep. I understand that Katie Sackhoff is part of the Star Wars universe. I was literally just trying to think of like kind of buff,
of that type.
Of that type of woman. Yeah, I'm aware.
Daniel Kesau said, "My wife and I watched Velma episodes 1 and 2, and it was so bad it killed her gallbladder. She's having it removed."
Wow!
What?
So, dude, now if I was Velma, I would
class action lawsuit.
Dude, no, if I was Velma, I would put that on the marketing. Like, a show so bad it killed someone's gallbladder.
You're like, hey, we'll pay for the surgery
to see what part of your body gets lopped off.
We'll pay for the entire surgery. We'll give you X amount of money on top. Please let us use you guys in your story for an ad. That's what I would do.
BD Beasley said, we do have censorship correct. For example, you can't say Beep's name, but you can have as many gay interracial scenes as you want.
Technically, I think you can say that. I think you just shouldn't, so you don't.
Are you trying to read the name, Kellen?
Don't.
Is it censorship when I don't read your super chat that you paid to send? Yeah. Is that censorship? Yeah, I don't think so.
So basically, you're the censor whenever Bad App.
Of course I am.
Whenever Bad App says anything.
Nice.
Clint said, I love a good villain. Gary Oldman is the best in my book, such as in The Fifth Element and The Professional.
True. Fifth Element.
Was that? I remember when was that you that mentioned that you'd seen Leon the Professional? Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my God, we are going to be good friends here. We are going to be good friends here.
Short Bus Bully said, Community over Atlanta.
That's tough.
I choose the name over both of those.
Yeah, that's amazing. Short
like
Bus
your
Bully
name.
is hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
Daniel Kazal, I don't know if I want to say that. Seems maybe a little blasphemous. Sorry. But I agree with the overall sentiment. Managed 42 said, did you guys ever do a review on Megan? Well, Brett here hasn't seen Megan. I wanted him to. I liked it a lot.
Their ads they pushed on Twitter was all that I saw on my feed for like 2 weeks. So like it left a very bad taste in my mouth.
Really?
Wait,
Yeah.
so
I got
It's a good movie,
bombarded
though.
with Megan ads.
we were gonna go see it, but then the theater was closed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went and saw it on my own time, though, so I didn't plan on reviewing it. Because if we're doing a review, we want to be as fast as possible about getting it out there. X said, OMG, your Empire Records. Also, read my shrimp.
I have not seen Empire Records.
I did read your shrimp.
since I was very, very little.
Evan Perry said technically it was a final shoot. LOL.
Wow.
Final shoot.
Perturbed
Nice,
Alpaca said treat every weapon as if it were loaded.
Absolutely.
True.
Correct. True.
Surge.com said, is this a real Surge?
That is a real Surge. I
Said-
actually did that.
Surge available at your local Burger King.
It is available at your local.
Yes,
My name is not spelled that way. It's
Wait, they
it's
brought it
soda.
back?
Yeah.
Well, look, you can also like some gas stations have it in can form.
Correct.
It is not the same as the
No, it's
original.
not.
The original bottle form was essentially just carbonated death.
Yeah, it
and
was
it was
sick.
incredible.
It was
like
dope.
it
It
was
was the
it was
best.
so like literally you could feel your face dissolving as you drank it.
Yeah, and your throat and everything was just like it was just.
Oh, remember
like-
Vault?
Amazing.
I just
Vault was worse. It was even
Vault was a
Vault-
Vault was a knockoff of Surge.
There was also before Amp was an energy drink. There was an Amp 20-ounce soda that was literally like motor oil. It was
Yeah.
so thick it was like
I think
motor
I remember
oil.
that. I think I remember that. Then Amp went to like the little
Those
little thin ones, right?
those like Gatorades that are like the Pedialyte Gatorades.
Gatorlyte?
Like like it was
Gatorlyte.
worse than that.
Wow.
Like as far as like thick.
Why do you think this is bad?
No, I'm saying the texture.
Does this have a
mouthfeel.
texture?
slimy.
It's
Yeah.
all about mouthfeel, guys. It's
the
all
thing.
about mouthfeel.
Yeah, all now they're mentioning Jolt. I could argue with people about. So
I could argue
I'm from
about-
Minnesota, so I call it pop. So
I forgot about Vault. I remember like
I saw
Yeah.
you say pop as soon
Summer
as
camp.
Corn Pop said pop.
Yep, pop, pop.
J Spot said Mystery Science Theater is a good time. It is. Johnny Derp said Mary is the FTC. She's not going to read that.
There you go.
Absolutely.
TC.
Biddy Beasley said Uncensored Wen. Also Ian Wen. I like him on here.
I like Ian.
Uncensored shows for members only. Definitely, we're
Well,
thinking about.
We want to get to
that.
profitability on here.
Then
We
you're
really
that,
want to get to
yeah.
profitability on here. Also, tomorrow there will be no Ian. We will have a special guest, John Delarose, the independent comic book artist, will be here.
Yes.
Comic book writer will be here in studio with us tomorrow.
Heck
Very
yeah.
excited.
Heck yeah, guys.
Mark Reyes said, I was censored by YouTube again. Sure, the super chat was cringe, but still. Well, now I want to know what it said.
Now I want to know what it was.
Tell us. X said, thank you for reading the shrimp. It means a lot, especially today. It's been a brittle day. Okay.
Shrimp.
You're welcome. Tremendous Studios said, this is the greatest pop culture podcast. There's no better podcast. Trump voice.
No better
By the
podcast.
way, Serge, you're doing an amazing job on Timcast, taking over for Lids.
Thanks. I want people to understand that Kellen does half the job too, and Cassandra
Dude,
does booking.
this comment's all for you, man.
I
No,
like
it's
the
not
idea
about me.
that you are
It's
actually
all
both.
Take the credit.
I like the idea that you're both
Not-
sitting
I'm
there
Steal
in
the
the
valor.
studio.
I'm not like that. I
He's
can't
hitting
take
the
valor.
left side of the stream deck, and you're hitting the right side of the stream deck, and
That'd
like
be-
you've got like little headphones on, and you're talking to
Yeah,
each
you
other,
think
even though you're all in the same
the little
room.
stream deck, you think you hold it like a video game controller. No. He's got the one hand, I got the other.
Yeah, guys. Yeah.
Hive
You just don't see it,
mind.
guys. That's what's going on. No, but I really do appreciate you saying that. Thank you. But Kellen does do the posting, and it is a process. And I wait for you. I'm
That's
here
true.
every night. I'm here because it's part of the
True.
team.
I just look across the table. I see his eyes. The room's kind of dark because we like to dim the lights after IRL's
Oh,
over.
man.
Gives you the courage to continue.
It's magical. It's a
X
magical
said,
place.
I know it was an afterthought, but Dumbledore was the perfect gay character. Literally didn't impact the plot.
He
just
was
like
gay?
McGonagall.
Professor McGonagall.
Professor McGonagall.
Foot
yeah.
fetish.
Wait, Dumbledore
Oh,
was
yeah.
gay?
I didn't watch Harry Potter. I don't know
Yeah.
anything about this.
He was retroactively made gay later on, but he was
Retconned it.
always portrayed as like flamboyant and over the top.
Yeah.
So like
They
it was
retconned
literally
Are
it almost makes
are
it
men
worse.
not allowed to be flamboyant
Yeah.
anymore?
It's
I don't
almost
know why
worse
they do
that
that.
she turned him into a stereotype.
why does,
I think so, too.
Yeah,
I
like
think
why
so,
does
too.
Benoit Blanc why does he have to be made into a gay character just because he wears ascots?
Why can't he just be a
Wait,
regular
Benwell
straight dude? I
is
don't
gay
understand
too
that either.
now?
They're saying that. Yeah.
That's
Oh.
they're
mean-
attempting to retcon.
That would follow then that Fred in Velma is actually gay.
Well, that I thought as well.
Is he?
He seems like it.
I thought-
mean,
I only got the small wee jokes. That's all I got from that.
Yeah.
The only thing they talk about is that
It's
he's
a
a white
very
man. That's
weird
it.
thing to make into
it's
his.
so much, aren't they supposed to be friends? She's bashing him quite
Yes,
a bit for them.
consistently.
She hates him, but also
Well,
is into him.
But it's also supposed to be like it's a bit of a prequel because they haven't solved any crimes together yet. So maybe the idea is supposed to be that they become friends later. But all of these people would have to have radical personality shifts
Right.
to not be awful later.
Right.
oh, and
Right,
also
right.
somehow Velma turns white over time.
Oh no, I love the idea that at the end she takes the mask off and she's just white Velma underneath and she's the villain.
Is that Scooby girlfriend thing
No,
real?
no, it was Gigi. I mean, I never thought it was. Maybe the idea is that he gives her a nickname.
Did anyone like talk about Mindy or not Mindy?
Especially if she
sorry,
ends
I'm
up-
getting confused. But the Velma turns white. What about Norbert turning totally white, completely?
Well, he's got
Right.
Norville's got a white dad who everybody
Norbert
hates,
Norville?
and a black mom who everybody loves in the show because the show, like I said, the show is egregious, and the show actually makes some attempts to make jokes at the expense of Mindy Kaling's actual audience, but as soon as they try it, they immediately run back to making fun of straight white guys, men in general, cops, and the same thing that they always do because they're too scared to commit to actually being universally funny, mainly because they're not capable of it.
Corey Alexander said, daily reminder that Velma is absolute trash and has the lowest score ever. The live action DBZ? What is DBZ?
Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon
Oh,
Ball.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z has
Evolution.
been beaten.
So bad.
And Baldwin's charges aren't enough time. 5 years isn't enough.
It is hard to believe that something finally unseated Dragon Ball Evolution, which
That was such a terrible
which
movie.
literally everyone hates.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if this movie was made. I thought they were trying to make people like that movie. This movie feels like this thing that I feel like they made it intentionally to make you hate it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the
Yeah.
other night when I was talking to that lady on Twitter, and I was like, "The Hollywood is full of cynics and it's full of sarcasm."
When you were getting into an absolute Twitter smackdown
in
with an anonymous poster.
in which I was basically like, we
Hilarious.
can agree to disagree because I'm a very polite person.
Sure, that's how it ended.
And no, it's literally how it ended. But the idea is, I was like, look, if you can say that like, the world Hollywood's not more cynical now. I'm like, yes, it is. It's absolutely more cynical.
I think it
they
is.
they were trying to make people like things back in the day. They were just failing a lot of the time. Now they don't even try anymore because they know that they're going to get dunked on.
Yeah.
True.
Tremendous Studios said, I'm not gay. I just want to boogie to some Marvin.
Yeah.
Oh.
Didn't
I hear
Marvin Gaye just had a restraining order taken out against him by his wife, I guess? Because
What do you
of
do?
something
You
happened?
always reveal some disturbing information about a random celebrity.
I
No,
saw it
but
on-
did you see the Justin Roiland stuff?
Justin, you haven't heard about this Justin Roiland stuff?
What's
No.
going
This is
on?
crazy,
Whoa, you guys haven't heard about this?
dude.
I thought you guys were pop culture plugged. I thought. Okay. Anyways.
Oh,
anyways.
you're fired. If you weren't glued to that chair, I would kick you out.
Go
right
get
now.
Helen some more coffee.
No, but really, he's has felony accusations.
No, he's been arrested.
He's
I
been
thought.
arrested on these felony accusations for was it false imprisonment? It was domestic abuse. It was.
Well, that's why we didn't cover. Like, we barely cover Alec Baldwin because it's like too
Yeah,
serious.
yeah,
Like, this
yeah.
is like, hey guys, you want to talk about this guy who imprisoned a bunch of women in his house? Hey, well, come have fun with us today. Doesn't that sound great?
Some people think they're gonna try to get. Some people think they're gonna try to continue Rick and Morty without him.
From the jail cell.
Oh, the Rick and Morty. Yeah, okay, I knew. Yeah, I read about this.
Yeah, the Rick and Morty guy. Yeah, so we should have
I thought it
mentioned
was
that.
Waylon.
I don't know how to say it.
Roiland.
Roiland.
Roiland. I don't know.
That guy,
he's
Rick and Morty
Canadian,
guy.
I think.
I mean, you know, Rick and Morty.
Rick and
What
Morty.
what real
Rick,
loss is that
Rick,
for society?
Rick.
I like Rick and Morty.
Oh, I'm gonna get some. I'm
Get
gonna some hate for that one.
Swifty.
Corn Pop sent us some popcorn.
Well, thank you, Corn.
Thanks,
Corn Pop.
Thank you.
But no creepy eyes, so
No eyes.
you're good.
See, he's
Thanks,
getting
Corn Pop.
better.
We appreciate it, man.
Biddy Beasley said Mary's a CCP mole. That's why they hold so many of the same values when it comes to censorship.
Yeah, I mean it's completely plausible.
I don't contest
She's
that.
got this giant sweater over there. You can't see it, but it's hanging on the wall. It says bricks, right? So she's like an oil queen for the
She's
for the
actually got
CCP.
like a picture of Xi Jinping on her notebook with a heart around it.
I take a selfie and just caption it bricks.
Yeah.
Hashtag bricks.
Instead of a diary, it's just letters to Xi Jinping.
Wow.
He just looks like Winnie the Pooh. He's so cute.
Dear
So
Xi,
adorable.
And-
I don't even want to see Blood and Honey unless
You know-
he's Winnie the Pooh.
Honestly, I just want to move there.
Our channel just the streaming instantly gets taken
Just
down.
drops.
Just
Yeah.
goes black. Okay. Unusable Alpaca said, great movie where the sex scenes make sense. Wild Things, classic.
Yeah, but that was like the
I
theme
haven't
of
seen
the
that.
theme of that movie is literally that stuff. That and Cruel Intentions. The highly underrated Cruel Intentions, which everyone should see. You probably
Never gonna see it.
you wouldn't want to see it. But
Okay.
everyone but
Which everyone but Mary should see.
for the sake of your, we don't want to do that to you. So we'll keep you away from that one. But the 90s, it was the 90s. It was a different time.
It
Cool.
was.
Cool. Doll Click said, I love this channel. It helps entertain me while I make dolls, and you are all
Oh.
refreshing, unique people and so unpretentious and genuine. Thanks.
Bet.
Well, thank you. And also
That's cool. I didn't know you made dolls.
it
Dolls
makes
are
more
sweet.
it
That's
makes
kinda-
all the more sense now.
it's cool, and I appreciate that art, but it also really creeps me out because all I can think of is like the Coraline doll or like Chucky.
Dude,
That's a cool
like,
vibe.
that's like almost racist,
Not
man.
Coraline,
Not all dolls are Chucky, bro.
what's
Come on,
the-
how dare
Honestly,
you?
though,
How dare
if
you?
you're
Like,
racist
that's-
against
that's
dolls.
No, what's the doll from
says, like-
Conjuring?
Also,
Annabelle.
Shimmy Shelley
yeah.
says Cruel Intentions has a great soundtrack. Yes. Every You and Every Me, Every Me and Every You by Placebo, and a bunch of other really great stuff. Man, 90s ruled.
Yeah, they did. They were sweet.
I mean, it's also like that movie came out. That was at the time when like Ryan Phillippe was like was really big in Hollywood because I Know What You Did Last Summer had just come
Yep,
out.
yeah,
He
I
was
remember
very
that one.
big at that time. He made guys actually want to have curly hair. It was I vaguely remember for at
True.
least an afternoon wanting to have curly hair because Ryan Phillippe had curly hair.
It's
Shia
not-
LaBeouf also popularized that. though.
That was Sarah
That's
Michelle
the-
Gellar or not? Yeah,
Michael Cera.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's after.
That was
that's
later. Wait,
Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
JT.
yeah.
Can't forget JT.
JT.
Thanks, JT.
And thank you, Doll Click. Doll Click is always kind of I like it because Doll Click's always in the chat arguing
Yeah.
with people, and I love it.
A lot of people
Yeah,
are.
we love it. But we're all polite here.
Tacty Plotty said Longmire fan too, huh? Cassidy Freeman is a smoke show.
Yes.
I love that smoke show is just part of the lexicon of all pop culture viewers
know,
now.
yeah.
She's kind of a smoke show in a very like girl next door kind of way in that show. Like she's not like you look at her and you think like, but it's good casting, right? She's like the daughter of a lawman in Wyoming. You don't expect her to look like a supermodel. She's
I mean,
she's very
anyone
good-looking.
who's a girl next door in Hollywood terms is a smoke show in real life, right?
Yes. It's also, I mean, that's
relative.
The show also has Lou Diamond Phillips, who's one of my favorite actors working today. But this is Cassidy Freeman.
No, yeah, she's a smoke show.
Yeah, she's a very, very pretty lady.
I wouldn't say girl next door necessarily.
I think she's got some girl next door qualities. She's very, but it's in the show. They like she's not dressed
Nice.
up. You're seeing stuff from other things in which, like, yeah. And when she was on NCIS NCIS New Orleans, she played like an
How
assassin
many
or
of them?
something.
Whoa, there's New Orleans. There's Austin. How many they have?
Yeah.
They have like Tempe, Arizona.
New
They got,
Orleans.
like-
New Orleans is canceled. Got really woke really fast.
They got the new
Wow.
one is Organized Crime. Well, that's Law and Order.
That's Law and Order.
Organized crime.
But yeah, Law and Order, CSI is all the same.
CSI's done. I mean, CSI. I think they brought back Las Vegas. See, that was the show that we should be doing because it's literally so procedural. It's just people like doing science. So there's no like in the early. It's so great. The early seasons, there's literally no room for identity politics. Just rich guy kills guy.
Nice.
Not rich guy kills guy. people like my favorite is CSI Miami, where everybody wears white pants. So you see like a bunch of them who like people who would never be caught dead in white pants in their entire life. They're all dressed like it's the most absurd thing you've ever seen, and it's great. There's no room for pretentious identity politics because it's just a bunch of people solving crimes with science.
Yeah,
love it.
I'm not going to read this next username, but he said Tim Cass should make a Western called A Fistful of Brett or Once Upon a Time in Brett.
You'll not read the username, but you'll read that?
Fistful
Are
of
you
Brett.
kidding me?
LOL.
I'm partial to neither.
And then
Please no.
Bobcat said, remember, gentlemen, don't say things to Mary that you wouldn't say to Chuck Norris.
Fair enough.
Well,
What are
that's a
things that
good
you
rule.
wouldn't say to Chuck Norris?
Fight me. Wouldn't say that to Chuck Norris.
Man, that was such an internet.
And
that was
then
such a time on the internet.
I
he
share
also
his birthday,
asked,
actually.
did Tim's ESG score go up after hiring an African?
Did you get like a notification on your phone that said that your
Do you have the app for
like,
your ESG
Just to
score?
confirm that this man hired you
he
for
knew he got the
employment.
job because he watched the Timcast ESG score go up on his phone.
Serge has
He
like
then gets the call that he's been hired.
he's like, I know what this call's about.
Dude, that's
Serge has got
actually
like
great.
2-factor authentication with it though. Like he has to
you have to have
prove.
2-factor at least. Otherwise, are you really legit? No.
High
that's
Voltage
funny.
75 said, Brett, how many parties to get you to do an exaggerated stereotypical Minnesota accent for the whole show? Think
yeah.
William H. Macy in Fargo.
It's not even a Minnesota
Get on
accent.
Putin.
It's like a North Dakota. It's not a Minnesota accent really. It's more Canadian. I don't even hear it unless I watch hockey players on Instagram. Like that's when I hear that accent. I don't even feel like I have an accent at all.
You don't.
I didn't notice it until like somebody pointed out that they heard me on the phone talking to my dad, and apparently my dad had an accent that I don't notice because he's my dad and I've been hearing him talk for years.
I
and
don't
years.
think you do.
I wouldn't even know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. Like I can't even make up the accent. It's just me.
Jacob Edler said people who gave Velma 5 stars should be on a list.
Um,
A list.
With the same people that didn't clap, right?
very, very, very possible. Like, I mean, a list of people with bad taste, like really bad. Like they're either politically motivated or they have horrible taste. Like that's the real crime. The real crime is the resources that went into making something that bad with no actual effort given.
Do you think it's really that difficult though with modern animation programs? I feel like a lot of what we're seeing in the animation world is just copy and paste.
It's like the number one thing is Mary thinks the animation's bad. I think it's just uninspired.
Is there? I
What's
mean,
the
yes,
difference?
yeah.
Like it doesn't seem like anything. There's no real texture or detail to anything. The scenes where she has the nightmares, that's the only time I see any type of actual cool animation, and that's it.
You know what? The coolest animation I've seen recently isn't even animation, but it's those people that are making the digital cakes, but like at home in real life. So it looks like a cake that's like in a comic book or something, but it's like 3D, and it's wild.
I love
looking.
like Cake or Not.
Yeah, essentially that, but it's in fact cake.
Cake or Not is freaking great. I understand Jacob Edler's like, no, I meant an FBI watch list. Like that, like should probably be on a list like that. But so should the people who liked Cuties, I guess. But
True. Perturbed Alpaca said, letters to G, a ghost girl's spy tale.
Nice. The new
There's
Tom
so many
Clancy.
alpacas.
The latest
How
installment
many
of
alt
Tom
accounts do
Clancy.
you have?
this is not a super chat, but I have to read it from Louis R. I love Velma. It's tremendous. Really one for our times. Brett is just gaslighting. That is what I'm doing. I am just gaslighting you that Velma's not the worst.
You're just
Brett's-
a shill.
Brett's
You're an
mad
anti-woke shill.
because Mindy Kaling took all hope that Velma could ever be yours.
She wouldn't date. It's because Mindy Kaling wouldn't date me. That's what
Yeah.
it was. I'm just mad.
The
that Mindy
weird
Kaling
thing is
wouldn't date me.
Velma literally acts like an incel with a manifesto that would commit mass murder.
Oh my god.
Like Velma,
I love the Smashing Pumpkins in the 90s.
Velma acts like that. Seriously.
It's so bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, it's like the more you pointed it out, the more I kind of realized it's like, look, why does everyone like her? She's mean to everyone. She's awful.
Yeah,
At least
for
when
real.
hot girls did it in the 90s, it made sense because they can't get over the fact that they're sexually attracted to the person. Therefore, it makes sense that, oh yeah, she's mean to me,
Well,
but
she's
I
trying
kind of
to, like-
but I kind of like it.
she's
But
trying
when
to-
this lady's mean to you, it should make you not just angry but flaccid.
Well, Mindy Kaling
Yeah.
is trying to recreate what you think of when you think of popular girl. Right now, you think of an athlete who's fit, comes from a good family, is well liked, funny, and she's trying to make it this rude, annoying, really nerdy girl,
worst.
and try to make that like what you should think of when you think of popular girl.
It's also funny too because like there really has been a rewriting of history where all of these Hollywood, especially the women who are now pretending like I loved Marvel growing up, I loved anime growing up. No, you didn't. You made fun of the people who
Yes.
did
Well,
this. You
right.
pushed them
Yeah.
into lockers, or at
Yep.
the very least, you were just
They
not
were
cool in
theater
another way.
nerds.
Yeah,
They were uncool theater nerds generally, but they rewrite history actually to make it so that in all of these stories about popularity and social echelons in school, the jocks and the popular people are just morally rotten, and the nerds are good people. When in reality, it's mixed all across.
Right.
It's a revenge fantasy.
Yeah,
on their
it
part.
is. I
It's a
think so,
revenge.
too.
They finally get back at the jerks.
That's
who-
why I'm saying that you act like an incel school
Yeah.
shooter. Like that's what
Yeah.
you are, Velma.
It's a Gundam. So I see a comment here. It says Daria did it better in the 90s.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what
Yeah.
it's a Gundam said. He
Right,
said this
it's
is like a
true.
cheap knockoff from Daria.
They're trying to be Daria. They're trying to be.
Daria was lame. I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
They're just
someone
trying
said
to be
Daria sucks too.
Yeah.
Emma.
Look, like you can't remake mean Girls at this period in time. They even make a joke about it in the new episodes where they make a joke about how being mean to someone is worse than physical violence because it harms their mental health.
Yeah, true.
And it's like these people are awful. They're awful.
Yeah, it's-
they're
it's
awful.
not good.
Look, and look, I'm fully willing to admit that the more we talk about this, the more I understand we are kind of part of the problem. In a way,
We're hate watching.
my hope is that you're watching us talk about it. Like watching me suffer is enough to placate you to not watch this out of curiosity. But there is an argument to be made that we're not helping in a lot of ways because we're giving it attention.
Disagree.
But at the same time, I'm always like, but I'm not a culture warrior. I'm just a dude who has opinions, and I think it's dorky to add a whole ton of significance to stuff when you can just make fun of it instead.
Yeah.
I'm a culture warlord. Check my Twitter.
I've been hearing that term.
Bet
that
true.
term. That
Bet
term
or
keeps,
true?
That term
Guys.
keeps coming up.
In the chat, bet or true?
Bet or true, guys?
Bet.
or
Tell
true?
me, bet or
What is the
true?
answer?
See,
Bet.
Serge doesn't roll ones or 20s. He rolls bets and trues.
By the way, before we move on, I'm going to end the poll since we did ask it. I asked everyone, have you seen our new review of Velma, which you should go check out if you have not after this episode. 51% said yes, they saw it. So maybe
Yeah.
they quickly went and watched it before they came back and watched the live show. So thank you guys. If you have not seen it, when this episode is over, you should go check it out.
Potatoes for Seamus said, Brett, Mary, and Serge, you are beacons of hope. Kellen, you're okay as well. But nobody can compare to our one true savior, Seamus, king of the potatoes.
Oh my goodness.
We do miss Seamus here. We have not seen him in a
I can
while.
I can confirm unconfirmed rumors that are unconfirmed that Seamus may potentially be coming back to the IRL.
Possibly,
podcast.
maybe, sort of.
Possibly, sort of, maybe, potentially.
Yes.
Unconfirmed.
Johnny Derp said, a list of people with bad taste. You sure you want to throw stones in a glass house, Ben? It's subjective, but maybe don't open that door. That is all.
I guess the door's already been opened. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Like
He
I
even called you Ben.
yeah.
Fighting
well,
words.
Oh, jeez.
his username is like a play on a famous actor, so it's fine. It's we love you, Johnny Derp, but you're right.
Even though you hate us.
You are right. I made a joke about people having bad taste. That was, of course, what I meant. I was 110% serious. I never kid on this show ever. I don't even know what sarcasm is.
Bobcat said, is this an alpacalypse or Lamageddon?
Oh.
I like alpacalypse.
Lamageddon.
Apocalypse is funny.
Lamageddon's
I like that one.
easier to say,
And
though.
then Perturbed Alpaca said, all the other alpacas are imitating.
Ah.
Nice. Yeah.
With the real,
Interesting.
with the
There's
real
one
more-
alpaca,
Surges.
please stand up.
Yeah, just like the Surges.
Biddy Beasley said, y'all fun. I love you. Talk to you later.
Thank you.
Bet. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bet
Bet.
and true.
TTYL.
True.
True.
Bet.
TYL.
All right, guys. Thank you again for joining us today. Before we go, would you please leave a like on this video, subscribe to this channel if you have not already. We are getting dangerously close to 50,000 subscribers. I'm very excited about that, so thank you very much. If you haven't left a comment on this video, do so. Leave a comment on other videos if you watch them. Go check out our review of Velma, episode 3 and 4. Make Mary's sacrifice worth it. She seemed to have an even harder time with this episode than I did. Fair enough?
With Velma 3 and 4?
Yeah, like you had more to say this time than me.
I had more to say, but I'm still having fun. Don't worry about me.
Perfect. All right, guys. So before we go, Kellen, let everyone know where they can find you.
You can find me at KellenPDL everywhere. Mainly Twitter, though. That's where I'll complain and be a troll. And then check us out at Timcast IRL tonight. I'm usually not on, and I won't be tonight, but check us out anyway.
Perfect.
And I am at surge.com. Spell it out, DOTCOM. I'm also at KellenPDL on Twitter. He's acting like he is, but that's really me. It's just my other account. No, but yeah, check us out. We have a very cool guest. If you're into the whole politics thing, you probably will like it. And watch on Monday because we have confirmed that our boy Steven Crowder will be coming through.
You know what's going to be awesome is this whole Daily Wire situation's happening. We got Candace Owens tonight.
Yeah. Candace Owens is tonight. Yeah, I can confirm that.
And Crowder on Monday.
And Crowder on Monday. Correct. Yeah.
Oh.
It's a big deal. It's
yeah, but when are we gonna have Andrew Tate on? That's the real question.
I don't know. I've been asking to have Cobra on for a while, but until he gets released from his...
I want Greta Thunberg on.
Me too.
One more chat here. Louis R says, sick of the big anti-Velma funded bias on the show. Very unbiased, Brett and Mary, total psyop. You're right. Little do you know, I was actually funded by an anti-Velma lobbying group that reached out to me on LinkedIn. And what they said is, they said, look, we love the original Velma. It's our favorite show of all time. And we've got stock in Velma sales for past movies, even though that's not a real thing. We're going to give you money to trash this show. And I said, look, my integrity's for sale. Let's go. Let's go.
We're from big anti-woke or like the big Scooby lobby.
The big con. That's a new thing that Crowder has coined as the big con.
Well, look, like somebody the other day was like, Brett trying hard to be the nuanced bro. I'm like, look, better to at least try, than be the dude who's like, everything's woke, everything's awful, everything's so bad. So what it should actually mean more that if you complain about something, don't necessarily attach that label to it, because like it's not necessarily just woke. It's just awful. It's woke and awful. Yeah. It should mean more when you're willing to use those labels, because you are willing to give things the benefit of the doubt. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Mary, where can they find you?
You can find pictures of me on Instagram at Mary Archived, and you can send me hate on Twitter also at Mary Archived. I've been more active on both platforms. I'm feeling very proud of myself about it. So go give me a pat on the back on social media. I need validation.
Nice.
There should be a pat on the back button.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what the Facebook poke button was, right?
It was, yeah.
Was that what that was supposed to be?
I mean, I still poke people on Facebook because I liked it. I think didn't they take it away? Or
Who
did they
is
get
still
rid of
on
it?
Facebook?
Yeah,
I'm a boomer, so you know.
My Facebook is still there, but like I haven't used it in like several like over 2 years,
right.
And I'm picturing the absolute disaster that it is right now.
No, jokes aside, the only reason I haven't deleted my Facebook is because I do have a lot of connections on there, and I keep thinking that I might need those, and as time goes on, I keep not needing them.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe it's silly, but I just think that having that as a resource is better than.
Well, why would you need, like,
Deleting
literally,
Facebook.
why would you need, I just log in so you can listen to boomer relatives argue about
because
politics?
It's one of the few places that, like, I can find people that I grew up with.
Not even boomers. It's not even boomers. It's literally millennials arguing about politics.
Yeah.
It's like, that was mean to boomers. It's just millennials being mean to each other on there. So, guys, don't follow me on Facebook. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Brett Dasovic for this show, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. It's kind of the opposite of Velma, which is 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, midnight Pacific. So perfect. Follow us here. Check us out Monday through Friday. If you want to listen rather than watch, we're on Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, Pandora, and Spotify. If you'd like to follow the channel on social media, we're on Twitter at popculture_show, Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Mary, there's one more there. Would you like to read it? You're in the perfect place to do so right now.
I'm not reading the username, but he said you can find pictures of Mary in the shrine in my closet.
Oh my god.
Not creepy at all, guys. We'll see you with another episode tomorrow. See you then.
Bye.
Later.